It's time to roll, time to slay, time to loot. Grab your dice, ready up, let's go!
Previously, in the Chronicles of Celestria, 7 strangers, each drawn by the pull of a mysterious page, found themselves transported to the quiet town of Meadowshade. Specifically, outside a bustling tavern. Inside, they encountered Arlen, the barkeep, and Brock Karok, a hardened minotaur and member of the Coalition of Free Cities, who had also been inexplicably summoned. Brock revealed an ancient leather-bound book, its centerpiece a gleaming purple gemstone, its pages missing or blank. As the group worked to decipher a cryptic puzzle etched onto their own pages, the book slowly reassembled itself, leading to the arrival of Vanessa, an enigmatic elven woman who, warned of the dark power, seemed bound within the artifact. The book then presented its first challenge, a riddle that spoke of a forgotten altar, hidden deep within the nearby forest. Vanessa advised not to venture there, but was swayed to help them to seek out this sacred site, where the forest guardians would test them. Their task? Retrieve an unknown prize and deliver it to the Whisperwind Tower. Under cover of darkness, the party pressed into the forest, shrouded by magic, to mask their approach. At last, they reached the ancient grotto, where the altar stood beneath the gnarled roots of a colossal tree. But as they stepped forward, the shadows stirred. The guardians of the altar emerged, ready to test those who dared trespass. And so, we begin, in the heat of battle. And as I've already had all of you roll initiative, I just need to find the turn tracker. It is here. As I've had you all roll initiative, let me change the music quickly to go back to a bit more, let's say, let's do this one. Cool. So, we are straight into the thick of it today. We're diving straight into combat. I will say, at the moment, we have obviously got our Owlin fighter up front, Gamma, followed closely behind by Bramble. I would say that just as everyone popped up, you guys got to where you were. You sort of started walking across the bridge, and they've suddenly emerged as we enter into combat. And what I've done is I've got, rather than rolling 6 individual sprites here, we have obviously got the 6 creatures that you guys can see on the screen. I've got 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom, and I will make them do their turns 3 and 3 rather than 6 turns just going through the turn order. It drags it out otherwise. Cool. And despite rolling a 23 for initiative, we actually have the sprites going first. So yes, so the very first sprite, I would say, moves towards the river and spots you at the front, Gamma, where you'll see the sprite sort of pulls out from behind its back a short bow to try and attack you. So yes, please can you tell me, all the way to the bottom, does an 18 hit?
That is exactly my armor class. So, beats it, I guess.
Yes, so perfect. I will roll damage, and it is 1 damage.
Oh. Okay.
I would say that with that, his turn is now over. We'll have the second one also move close to you and attack you with his short bow. Does an 8 hit?
No, an 8 does not.
An 8 does not hit, and that is his turn. And the last sprite comes and joins next to the other one and attacks with a short bow as well, which doesn't hit. What I will say is that one thing you noticed, which I didn't actually address, was as you were hit, I also need you I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Okay.
Max, we can't see your rolls, by the way.
Yeah, they're all on Whisper to GM, I think.
That I can change by doing...
A 24.
A 24, okay, no, nothing happens. How do I change it to...
Do I need to roll it for each one? Or
no,
is it
just for the one that was
no?
hit that hit. Just for the one that
On
hits.
the-
Oh, okay.
On the NPC sheet, there should be at the top something that says whisper or like
Ah, yes, public. Gotcha.
public. After.
Cool. Yes, so yeah, nothing
Might be
happens,
like that.
and that is now
Might be
his
like that on all
turn.
NPC sheets, just so you're aware.
Let me just turn this down slightly. Cool. All right. Next we have Drakenthal.
Drakenthal will move forward as far as he can, and he will use one superiority die and use a bait and switch position with Gamma if he's willing.
Sure. Yeah, I'll swap with you.
So I guess I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we
How do
swap.
we do that?
I'll move. I'll move my ear. Here, you move in front of me. Go.
So you guys switch
Yeah.
places. Cool.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anything that comes from that? Do you want to?
I roll my superiority die, which is 1d8,
Mhm.
and I can add that AC either to myself or to Gamma, and I will add it to myself, I guess.
Okay. Can you just share that in the chat as well so that I
Yes.
can see that? Cool.
You want the ability?
Yes.
Because I don't think I have the ability on my sheet. I couldn't really choose it in the.
Okay, if it's not on your sheet, that's fine. I'll take your word for it. So basically, you add your AC.
The 6 to my AC until the end of the until my next turn. Yeah, until start of my next turn.
Isn't
Okay,
it the
cool.
creature's AC that you switch with, not yours?
You choice.
You can
your
choose
choice.
between-
the creature.
Okay.
Your choice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, that's so much better than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's
pretty-
busted.
Yeah,
It's pretty damn good. Cool.
And I guess nah, it's fine. We'll hold an action if one of them steps closer. I guess I will attack it.
Just to check, when you say
Yeah.
steps closer, do you mean closer than
Well, in my range,
within your range? Okay.
in
Okay,
my
cool.
my melee range, which is 5 feet.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then just
Perfect.
hold my shield up and wait. I guess.
Sounds good.
Well, I clang the shield.
You climb
Come
the
at
shield.
me.
Okay. Sure. Okay. And next we have our next three sprites, where we'll have the first one will attack with the clang of the shield. Will attack at you with a short bow, Drakenthal, with a 14 to hit,
That misses.
which misses. He then will move a little bit closer, but not across the bridge yet. I will then have the second one, so this one at the front here, will also shoot with a short bow at you for 15 to hit.
That misses.
Seeing the two hits missed the Dragonborn on the bridge, I would say that the third one... Would he? Yeah, the third one will shoot towards Gamma. And Gamma with a 20
That hits.
that hits. Can I ask you for a Constitution saving throw, please?
Yeah. Yeah, you can have a Constitution saving throw. A 15.
With a 15, you pass the DC, so nothing happens. Great.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm starting to wonder that's pretty close because the way he just made his face.
Next up, we have Kalara. Kalara, who I will be playing as today. Kalara, I would say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 foot of movement. Actually, let's say here. Because 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 foot of movement. Kalara will... She will hold an action for now. Yeah, until someone is attacked at melee range. So yeah, she will hold an action. We now come to the water elemental over at the back here, and it's at this point where you guys sort of you've seen these guys come out of the altar, and they're huge. They're really big elementals, right? It's hard to miss. They barely lie below the roots above them. I would say, let me see. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Ooh, you know what? Yeah. I would say the water elemental reaches there and nothing. And with that, that is his turn, yeah. That is his turn. So yeah, that is the water elemental's turn. Cool. Gamma, we come to you.
All right. Because I'm an Owlin, I'm going to fly. I have a flying speed equal to my movement speed, and I'm just gonna fly over Dragon Doll. It's 10, 15, 20, 25.
How high up are you?
Just enough to get over Dragon Doll.
Okay, so you're about 5 foot up then.
Sure, yeah.
Because I would argue you include it in your movement to go up.
Okay.
So if you're 5 foot up, then yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, as I reach here, I'm just gonna stab towards this little thing.
Yep.
Had enough of it, really. An 18?
An 18 hits.
12 damage.
As you see this sprite sort of get pierced straight through the chest as it falls to the floor. Almost very unexpected of a blade from above. Yeah.
Okay. Man. I think that's it of my movement too. Yeah, I mean that's all the movement I can do. I'm just gonna stand there and just hold strong, I guess.
Cool. Perfect. Bramble.
I don't have the movement to enter the fight completely. So I will take position next to Drakenthal, hold my ground, and if anyone comes within 5 feet of me, I will use my attack.
Okay, perfect. So you're both holding an action basically, and if someone comes within range, you've got the blade ready. Or in your case, your fists, I imagine.
My fists.
Yes. Perfect. Cool. We then come to Caruth, who's all the way at the back.
Yep. But I am going to move 30 feet to here. And then I'm going to bonus action Misty Step. Right across. And I'm going to attack this water thing right in front of me.
Okay.
With a 10.
With a 10, you swipe your sword towards him, and it sort of almost tries to cleave, and you're surprised that it doesn't even affect it in the slightest. It doesn't even touch.
It's okay. I'll extra attack. I'll go again.
Okay.
25.
With a 25, it does hit. Yes.
That's a whopping 8 slashing.
And yeah, cool. 8 slashing. Perfect. Very nice.
And that's all me, my movement, and my actions out.
Cool. Let me just make a note.
What?
Weapon mastery.
What about it?
Doesn't Sap give a disadvantage on his next attack roll?
It does, yeah. That's why it says
Just tell the DM that. Let him know.
disadvantage on his next attack roll, Mr. DM.
Oh, so he has disadvantage on his next task roll because of the weapon mastery from the 2024 weapon mastery skill that you are implementing on your sheet. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Caruth, anything else on your turn?
No, that's actually everything I can do, pretty much.
Perfect.
I've used all my actions and whatnot.
Very nice. I will say, as you slash towards it, you notice that it does appear to do damage. Sienna, your turn. Also at the back.
Yeah, and I intend to stay there, but I'm gonna move a little bit more to the front so I can at least see what's happening. I see Caruth trying to stabby McStab the blue guy, and I'm like, okay, is this who we're fighting? And I shall cast Mind Spike on it.
Mind Spike. Okay.
Let me throw it up
Yes.
for you.
Thank you. Perfect. So Mind Spike. Reach into the mind of the creature you can see within front of
Wisdom
you.
saving throw, 3d8 psychic damage on a fail.
Wisdom
Half
saving
as much
throw.
on a...
Perfect.
Yeah?
Let me
Okay.
go ahead and... Wow. Okay. So
If it hits, it hurts.
he actually... I've whispered GM again, but he actually did roll a 20. So he does only take half damage.
But yeah, that's still 9.
Which is
That's
still a lot of damage. So he's now... What is it? Is it 3d8? Wow, okay.
Yep. Psychic damage. And, oh yeah, on a failed save, never mind.
You always know this target.
Yeah, but it's on a fail and he succeeded, so it
Perfect.
doesn't matter.
Very nice.
That's the end of my turn.
Very good, very nice. Thank you. We then move on to Flanagan, holding up the rear, with Alfonso in your back behind you.
Come on then, Alfonso, let's go. And Flanagan will hop up onto the back of the saddle. Yeah! And as he hears Alfonso, can I have Alfonso's token just move to the back of the rest of them? Just because I keep putting Flanagan over the top and then he hides underneath.
The back of the... Oh, yes. Let me see. Hold on.
Thank you.
There you go.
Perfect. So I jump on the back of him, and then the two of us are going to travel... Why did it say 42 feet? 40 feet anyway in this direction, as they just start hurtling towards the bridge. And then while on the back of Alfonso, seeing my ally fighting the sprites, who look easier of the bunch, I will just start releasing arrows at them.
Okay.
So the first one... where's my short bow? There it is. Kapow! To the furthest away one, a 27 to hit.
Just to confirm, is that this one here?
Yeah, that one there.
Perfect. A 27 does hit.
Cool. For 9 damage.
As you see the sprite get pierced in the chest and fall. Again, its wings suddenly stop midair as it falls to the ground.
Second attack, I'm going to fire at the one next to it.
Yep.
23 to hit.
Hits.
For 6 points of damage.
As you see this, the two sprites now, one with an arrow on one shoulder and the other one turned around and it got hit in the back as well, as both of them have now fallen to the ground. You have 3 dead sprites.
As I pat Alfonso's side, just say, right then, do it! And I'll use my bonus action to use an action to make him dash. So he's then going to dash, bowling through everyone. I'll put him here, as he just bowls through past Bramble and Drakenthal and, like, skids to a halt behind Caruth.
Very nice. Cool. Yeah. And is that
As
the
he
rest?
takes the entire bridge up. Yep, that's
I would
me
say
done.
that now, you guys can see that the bridge actually struggles a little bit with Alfonso's weight crossing it. It's a little rickety, but yes, thank you very much. Anything else on the rest of your turn? Cool, perfect. As we move to the Earth Elemental at the back here, who's had to sit and watch up until now. It's at this moment you guys see... Bear with me a second. Yeah, he would. I would say seeing Alfonso coming across the bridge in haste. Yes, he would. You see this hulking earth elemental at the back sort of reach into the ground as he pulls out what can only be described as a small boulder, and launches it towards Alfonso with a nat 20. Presumably that hits.
Yikes.
So that is a critical hit, as we see the boulder fly through the air and do a total of 11 damage to Alfonso. And that is...
Wait, it only does a d6 normally?
That is... it's 1d6.
The boulder does 1d6?
1d6, wait, hold on. How did that
can't
happen?
be right.
It rolled... 1d6
Did you
and
click
1d6.
damage instead of crit damage?
No, I clicked crit damage. 1d6 plus 1d6 is 3 plus 3 plus 5. Yeah, that's correct. The damage is correct. So yeah, it would be 2d6 plus 5, which it rolled 2 3s, so yeah.
Cool.
11
No, that
damage.
just seems very weak for an elemental.
Yes, you would be surprised with the 2024 Monster Manual has made some changes. Yep, and on that note, he would then also, after throwing this boulder, would move closer with 1, 2. You'd actually see he throws this rock at you and then begins to burrow underground as you see him disappear. As he burrows below the surface, you do see rumbling, and I would say that the rest of you see rumbling sort of above ground here in this location. Cool. And that is the end of his turn. Alright, where were we? Sorry. The sprites, now that we're back, the sprites are actually, this was the first set of sprites which you guys took out. As we move to Drakenthal, please can you tell me what you would like to do?
Drakenthal will use his bonus action to use his draconic flight, and he will go and fly there. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Can you share a draconic flight in the chat for me,
Yes.
please?
It's essentially my movements becomes flying.
Yeah.
There.
Perfect. So that was as a bonus action, correct? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then I will use I will attack and replace the attack with my breath weapon.
Okay.
It still counts as an attack, I believe, as far as I understand. And I will then have come here. A beam of 30 foot, a line of 30 foot that's 5 feet wide, going this direction.
Okay. Yeah.
And 2d10. And the creatures have to make a save, DC 8 plus 2, plus proficiency, which is 3, so 15 is the DC.
And that's a dex save
Dex save.
with a 15. Cool. The water elemental avoids it.
He takes half damage, I believe.
So he takes half damage, and then for the sprites, we have. We'll roll them individually. So, yes, 1, 2, 3. As you see that the middle one is hit, but both of the others actually move out of the way. Do they still take half damage?
On
What
a
was-
failed save, the
Yeah.
creature takes
Damage of the type 1d10 damage.
half the damage. Yeah.
So on a
On a
failed
successful
save.
save, they take half damage. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay, and then just to confirm,
So
the
that's
damage type
4
is
fire damage.
Fire damage. Cool. As you see that one of the you see the sprite in the middle, it sort of catches fire as your breath in this line goes almost through the water elemental and hits the other sprite, causing it to fall to the ground. And you smell like a burnt crisp sort of smell. Yeah, cool. Anything else on your turn?
And then I will take my extra attack and just swing at the water elemental.
Oh, actually, hold on. Let me quickly check. So
Yeah.
on a...
When I use an attack action,
Hold on 1 second. So on a
Yes.
failed save, a creature takes 1d10 damage of the type determined by a draconic ancestry.
on level 5, it's a 2d10. The damage changes.
So the damage increases by 1d10 when you reach level
Yeah.
5, so it's 2d10, and then on a
Yeah.
successful save, a creature takes half as much damage. Okay. Can I ask you to
yeah.
please roll 2d10 for me? Oh, you have. You've got 4.
I had. That was the 4.
So half of 4, so
2.
2 damage.
The
Cool.
fire damage, yes.
You notice that it's not just, it's at this moment you notice it's not just the one sprite, but all 3 sprites catch sort of a little bit of a flicker of a flame, and they fall to their deaths as you kill all 3. The water elemental also sustains, let me just quickly check his. Yes, the water elemental. Okay, yeah. Cool. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, burnt their little wings off. I will, then take the extra attack action. Is that an action? I don't know.
Extra attack action?
Yeah, the extra attack when I
Can
take
you
an
do
attack
that with a
action.
spell? Can I ask?
It's not a spell, since it's when you
it's
take
instead
the
of an
attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with the exhalation of magical energy.
I
Like
will.
it should still count
yeah.
as an attack
Okay.
action, right?
Sure, extra attack. Go for it.
Yeah. So I just swing with my flail
Okay.
at the water elemental
26 definitely hits.
and sap as well, I guess.
With
Oh,
sap
do I have to
as well.
press that? No.
It's good to share it to me just so I know what it is. But yes,
Yeah.
please roll damage for the flail. I've basically got, what was it, 6 plus 2,
So 8
8 total damage. Cool.
normal damage. I don't know. Bludgeoning. Sorry, bludgeoning. That's my turn. Yes.
Very nice. As you see the flail hit into the water elemental, we then move to not our sprites because they are dead. The Kalara will step forward and move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 foot. Let me see. Can Kalara do anything this turn? You know what? She'll bonus action. She can't bonus action dash. She will just action dash to squeeze past Alfonso next to the water elemental. You know what? I'll even move her up one more. Sure. Cool. As she has action search, she's used her action to dash next to the water elemental. And yes, I will say that is her turn. Perfect. We'll move on to the water elemental. Having just taken a flail and watched you knock out a bunch of the sprites, the water elemental will now slam towards you, Drakenthal, with a 20 to hit.
Disadvantage.
At disadvantage, correct. So an 11 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
Right. Cool. It does have a multi-attack, so he will... You know what? Yeah, he will just slam again with multi-attack. 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
As you take 9 bludgeoning damage.
Sure.
Perfect. Cool. We then move on to Gamma. Yeah, you are muted. Sorry.
Oh, hello. My
Hello.
bad. Do I have any idea where that earth elemental went, or is he just
The
gone? He just
last,
disappeared?
the last of the rumblings that you would have seen would have been here. It is currently burrowed underground somewhere.
Okay. I will move here, and I'm gonna bait and switch with Karuth, if she will allow it.
This bait and switch tech is driving me nuts. Yeah, okay, go for it. Will you allow it, Karuth?
How does it, like, tell me how does it look? Because Karut's not very
So
nice.
essentially,
do
what
you do to
happens
me?
is Gamma will oh man, Gampa will attempt to fly over you, like kind of jump over you, but using his wings to fly, and he's kind of just gonna try to like, with his wing, kind of turn you like back, like push you away from the creature, and he's gonna
Do you accept
You
it,
know
Karuk?
what? She's trained rigorously as a child. I think she would have known about these combos and might even try and give you a shoulder up and then step underneath, like take a step back.
Okay. And I will give Karuth the AC buff. We
Okay.
swap places.
Okay.
I need you to swap places with me. I need you to move out of my way. Thank you. Alright, and she will gain a AC buff of, I believe it's just a D8. Yeah, it's a D8.
I think it's a
Oh,
flat D8
yeah.
roll.
Damn.
You roll a D8, right? So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
Damn.
An 8! Okay, yeah, you get an
Can
8 to your AC.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
This bait and switch? How long does that AC bonus last?
It lasts until the start, like, of my next turn.
Start of your next turn.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Shame.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I'm going to make some slashes against this creature. A
With-
13.
Misses.
Okay. Well, because of that, I'm going to use my goading attack this turn.
Okay.
Just for you guys to know. I'm going to use that on this hit. If I hit this one. Okay. Well, never mind.
You attempt to goad the creature as you miss horrendously with a nat 1. Despite your +8 with a 9, you actually don't beat the AC, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But very heroic to jump into combat either way.
Yeah.
Anything else on the rest of your turn?
Nope.
Perfect. Cool. As we come to Bramble, still holding strong at the base of the bridge, ready to punch whatever comes your way.
Yeah, nothing did come my way, so Bramble was also very anxious to see where the other elemental will show up eventually. But he will take position between the rest of the party members at 40 feet of movement. And, well, let's do the classic monk moves. My first unarmed strike.
Perfect. A
Which is
21 definitely hits.
Which is a whopping 3.
For 3 damage, yep.
Another one, my second attack, that's a 17.
Hits.
Then I will use one of my focus points, which I will convert in Flurry of Blows, which makes me allow more unarmed strikes.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to roll damage for that one?
Oh, it's...
Yep.
That's another 3.
Very nice.
And then the other one is an 18.
An 18 hits.
That's gonna be
Another
a whopping
3.
Wow, that's a lot of 3s. It's almost as if it does 3 damage.
I like the idea that the water elemental is essentially an aqueous form of basically water, and you're punching this sort of almost like punching a waterfall. That's essentially what I'm envisioning here.
Exactly.
The sheet's not set up right. It's just using his strength +1. It should
Is
be
that
his,
what it's doing?
dexterity. Yeah, that's why the damage isn't working.
Let me see.
That's why it's rolling 3 every time. If you click
Okay.
the details tab, it just says strength bonus +2, damage bonus +1.
What we're missing then should be Dex, correct?
Yeah, it should be Dex plus. It should be a 1d6 at 5th level, I think it is, plus Dex. Or it's a d8. The 1d6 or d8, I can't remember.
1d6 plus 5. So yes, please can you roll damage all 3 times again for me?
Again, sure.
Should now work if you just click the damage dice.
Looks a bit better.
6,
There you go.
yeah.
So, thank you
Well,
very
2
much,
more.
Mr. Soup,
Thanks,
for
Matt.
that. I appreciate it.
I spotted it first one, and I was like, oh wait, another 3. Yeah, that's definitely wrong.
Tim won't
It's a lot of
notice.
3s. Second
Really
attack
qualified.
will
Very
be an 8,
nice. An 8, very good.
and the third attack would be
A 6. Wow, okay, very nice.
I will need a Dex saving throw from the creature.
Yep. Dex saving throw as he rolls a 7.
Where do I see what? I think he fails, but let me check. It doesn't say how much.
Stunning strike. So once per turn, when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can expend 1 focus point to attempt a stunning strike. The target must make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, it's Constitution. Sorry.
Yeah, it'll be against your monk spells, well, your monk save, which is like normally like 8 plus your dex plus your wisdom, something along those lines, or it'll be like 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom. It's something along those lines. It should be somewhere on the sheet.
8 plus proficiency plus your wisdom. Yeah, that sounds about right. So it'd be 8 plus 5 plus your wisdom score.
Which is a 17 is plus 3.
17, and it is a con save, so I'm going to re-roll that with a 21.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Sorry, I don't make the rules.
No worries. No worries. Still have 1 unarmed strike left.
I will say that because of that, he's still, with a successful save, the target speed is halved until the beginning of next turn, of your next turn rather, and the attack roll made against the target before that then has advantage. So everybody has advantage against this creature now.
Yeah.
So even with that save.
Nice.
And there is still an unarmed strike left from the flurry of blows, which is a 16.
16 hits.
Which is a 10.
10 damage. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
And I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you've done enough. With what, like 30 or something damage? I think that's probably enough. Yeah. So it is only the next attack, but the next attack against this creature does have advantage thanks to Bramble. And perfect. We then move to Caruth.
Okay. Thanks for that advantage. I am just out of observing. Does this creature look at all like it's panicking a bit surrounded, or can I not tell?
You would notice, so the Aqueous form in front of you, rather than being almost like a wave, it's more like a humanoid figure, and it does appear to look beaten. In a way, you would think that a water elemental looks bloodied. It would be bloodied.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Technically, somebody is bringing something up. The advantage wasn't already taken by Bramble's next, so I think I don't have it anymore anyway, right?
You are correct, because there was an unarmed
Yeah.
strike at the end there, so it was, and it did hit, so we don't need to go back to it. Yes, correct.
Okay. That's fine. I will just go at it with my longsword in that case. 22.
Hits.
Does that hit? Yes, let's go. That's 12.
12 points of damage.
And sap.
okay.
12 points of damage. If it's still standing, I still have extra attack. I will go again.
It is still standing.
27.
Hits.
Yeah. That's 9.
It's 9. Yeah. Still standing.
Okay. I will action surge.
Mhm.
And just because I don't really play this, do I get 2 like attacks, or is it just the one time that I
attack.
get to attack? Just the 1 extra attack. Okay. So again, 25.
Hits. What
And
is
then
this
11
roll?
slashing.
What are these rolls? Okay, 11 slashing as the beast is still standing.
Just chopping away at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is. I will just stay engaged, and I feel pretty confident because it can't hit me with my current AC.
Just to check with you, the sap ability here, remind me, is it the disadvantage on its next attack?
Its next attack, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Cool. And is that the end of your turn? As you
Yeah,
cleave
that'll
this
be
water
just
elemental.
chopping away. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. As we then come to Sienna.
Who sees everyone ganging up on this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, I know I don't work like that. I'm gonna keep a safe distance and fire at it from afar. So I will cast magic missile on it.
Okay.
So let me throw it up for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, please do.
Wait, that's the wrong button.
That would be the damage. Yes.
No,
All good.
It's
for some reason.
because magic missile auto hits. You don't
Yeah.
use your auto hit. And there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Cool. So you create
So,
3
yeah.
glowing darts of magical force. Each dart hits a creature of your choice and deals a 1d4 plus 1 force damage to its target. Darts
It
all
just
strike
hits.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice and clear.
So this 3 times 4 is 12.
Yep.
Hopefully it's enough. I don't think so, but I hope it's enough.
So we're doing yes. So you notice that this is still standing. So
Ow!
yeah, but you do notice all 3 sort of pierce into it as it takes the first. What type of damage is it? Okay, yeah, force damage. Cool. Yep.
Okay, and then I'll just be skulking in the shrubbery a bit, like, yeah.
Cool.
Not a fighter.
Perfect. Thank you very much. As we move to Flanagan.
Go, go, go! As the 2 of us go bounding towards the altar.
Okay.
And as we start getting to it, I want to see what's on it now that we're getting a little closer, because everyone was making their way
So-
towards it.
In the heat of the battle, I will still ask you to roll a perception check as you run up to it. Describe to me exactly what you're doing, and I'll tell you what you see.
I am basically going for a drive-by around it. Alfonso is just making a swoop around it, and as I'm going around and aiming over it to fire at the war elemental, I just wanted to know, do I see anything on top of it?
You see, as you
Just
look...
a glance.
Yeah, I would say, especially given you have a passive perception of 19, and in the midst of combat, I'm not going to ask you to roll a perception check. If it's just a glance, you notice that what was initially a glistening sort of sparkle appears to be a small hexagon-like golden amulet with a chain that seems to go around part of the altar. It's almost like there's a little bit of stone, and it's put on that as if it's
Ooh.
wearing it, and that's what you notice.
Sweet, no, brilliant. As for my bonus action, skirt. Alfonso starts drifting around the altar, and as he does, I release 2 arrows towards the war elemental.
Cool.
And I will kapow. 19
19 hits.
and a 24.
Both hit, so please roll damage
We're gonna
for
go
me.
thunk and thunk. So a total of 15 damage.
15 damage. Wow. Okay, as you can see these 2 arrows. Although previously you'd anticipate the arrows to almost go through the water elemental, this time it's stuck. It's sitting in them as the water elemental sort of holds himself before falling flat as you slay the water elemental.
Does he just fall to like a puddle, or does he fall
He
to
falls,
a fall?
unlike a normal water elemental, it sort of hits him in the chest and then in the side, and he falls back, almost like a humanoid, and you feel the body hit the ground, and then it dissipates into a puddle.
And then it goes to a puddle.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, I just go, Ray-O! There's one under the ground! That's the end of my turn.
Yes, perfect. As we then come to the earth elemental under the ground. And it's interesting you position yourself there, because it's at this moment where before you appears the earth elemental as it sort of lets out a roar as it emerges from the ground and begins to attack. I would say, although it's probably aiming for you, I would say it probably will hit. Let's say it hits Alfonso with a 24 to hit.
Yeah, it's gonna hit.
As Alfonso takes 14 damage.
My boy.
And he attacks again with multi-attack for 20.
Yep.
Silvery barbs.
Silvery barbs. I will allow it because it was just before I rolled damage. Which
I was muted. I was already saying it.
I will allow it because it was literally
Yeah.
the second before I rolled damage,
Yeah.
so I will allow it. It was 13 damage, which is.
You roll again, right?
I roll again, do I?
Okay.
I roll the d20, correct. You are right, thank you.
Yeah.
So it still hits for 13 damage.
No, it's a nat 20 now. Oh no, you always take the
No,
lower.
Is it
You
not
always
take
take
the
the
lower?
lowest.
Take the
You
lower.
Silvery
lower.
barbs, you take
Yeah.
the lowest. So it was actually a 20 initially, and then a nat 20
Sorry, I
critical
tried.
hit. So, yeah.
It's okay. Alfonso
Um,
falls unconscious.
Alfonso falls unconscious. And
I will give advantage to Drakenthal, by the way.
Cool. So
Next
Drakenthal,
attack.
you have advantage. Please make a note of that, and I will just put a marker here on Alfonso. Alfonso is now lying unconscious.
And I assume I'm now prone as I go tumbling off him. I'll chuck myself there.
You would be prone, correct? As he falls to his feet, you would be prone. So I will just put a quick marker on you. Cool. Yes, and I would say with that multi-attack, that is his turn. Perfect. As we move to Drakenthal, now with advantage. Please, can you tell me what you do on your turn?
Well, Drakenthal will kind of take flight and fly over here to position himself in front of the Earth Elemental.
Mm-hmm.
And then will essentially do a similar thing that I was doing before. What? Why is my... Where's the thing? Oh, there. Sorry. We'll use the breath weapon, but this time as a cone of 15 feet.
Okay.
So that's essentially...
I imagine it's straight down from where you are. Yep.
like there.
Cool.
And...
A deck save.
Well, it's again the deck save, yeah. Why did it say 13? It should be 15.
Either way, with a 7, he fails the dexterity save, so takes a full brunt of the damage, which is 15 fire damage.
Yeah.
Thank you. As you see the Earth Elemental take the first bit of damage with 15 points of damage against it.
And
Perfect.
then I will use the extra attack and attack it with my flail.
Yep. Which now works.
And that would be with advantage. Can I use attack for that? No. Or do I just roll twice?
You would roll twice your attack
Okay.
to hit. So 15 to hit.
27.
Just as well you had it, because 15 would have
Nice.
missed. So 27, which is a crit. So you roll the crit damage.
I clicked on crit damage, yeah.
Okay, crit damage. Okay, you rolled 2-2, so it's actually a very unlucky roll.
Yeah,
but
it's
you got
really
10,
unlucky.
10 damage. Very nice.
And
Anything
I
else?
will use... No, actually I won't use anything else. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool, perfect. As we then move on to the next person in our list, which is Kalara, who hasn't had a hit yet, will finally run over and pull out her dual scimitars. As you see her reach across her waist and pull out the 2 scimitars, she will then slash towards this Earth Elemental. If I can find the sheet, hold on one second. Here it is. She will try and attack with her scimitars, so it is just check. She would go this one. Yes. So a 10 unfortunately misses, so the first one clangs off the stone as the 17 then cuts in and manages to find a groove where it does 9 slashing damage. I would then say as well that with the... Bear with me, I'm just going to check exactly what the wording was from our good friend who isn't here today. Sorry, bear with me. Yes, okay. So then she would go with the nick property of her scimitar, which essentially is, for all intensive purposes, I believe, when you make the extra attack action with the light property, you can make it as part of the attack action instead of as a bonus action. You can do this as an extra attack once per turn. So she would attack again. Cool. So she would offhand attack with her scimitar, and there does an additional 1d6 damage, which is 4. So a further 4 damage as you see the sort of blades strike against, again, the elemental ahead of her. As we then move forward to Gamma.
Yeah, I will take up 10 feet in the air flying, and I'm going to fly over. So I mapped this out. I can literally just get there. I'm actually going to fly on top of this thing.
Okay. You're gonna fly onto it. Above it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly onto it. Yeah. And I'm going to use one of my attacks as a goading attack again. We're gonna try this for like the last time. And I'm gonna try to goading attack it.
Okay.
See if
I'll allow it.
a 27.
27 hits.
Okay. Let me just put that back up there, and then boom.
So
When I hit it
Mhm.
with a weapon attack, I can add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, so we just roll that as well.
Wow.
All right, it's 18 damage. And then that thing makes a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls against anyone else but me until the end of my next turn.
Yep. Perfect. Yep, so that was your first attack. Goading attack.
Yeah, it has to make a wisdom save.
Cool. Let me have a look here. Wisdom saving throw. An 18.
That might save. DC is 8 plus my proficiency plus my strength or dexterity. Okay, so that's 11. Yeah, that's gonna save.
Perfect.
And then I'll just attack it again.
With
14.
a 14, unfortunately, it misses.
Okay. And that's it. That's all I'll do.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. As we then move on to Bramble, as you've sort of got a splash puddle at your feet at the moment with this what's
Lovely.
left over of the elemental.
All my garments are wet. Lovely. I was just checking something. Yeah, I can make this. I will make my way. Wait. There. I will make my way to Alfonso, because I can't stand animals being hurt. And I will use Cure Wounds on Alfonso
Okay, yeah.
to help him back up.
As Alfonso receives 10 hit points.
Yep.
Very nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's also the.
Thank you,
my
Mr.
full
Bramble.
mount. Is that like Flanagan who tells me that, or?
Yes, yeah, because I don't speak for Alfonso. Alfonso has his own voice, but Flanagan would, he'd be very thankful.
I will also direct myself to Alfonso, just telling him to be careful and stay up on his feet.
Very nice. Cool. As Alfonso returns to his feet, I will say that happens this turn where he's no longer prone. No longer incapacitated. He's back on his feet. Anything else you would like to do on your turn?
I haven't thought about that. I thought that was all. Let me quickly check. No, I don't think so. No.
Perfect. Cool. As we will then move to Caruth.
Yep. Karut, seeing that there's only one enemy left, she will move herself across right next to Gamma.
Mhm.
And she will just go at it with her longsword.
Perfect.
With a 15.
Misses,
Not
unfortunately.
Misses. But she'll try again.
Mhm.
Which also misses.
You also miss with an 11, correct? Yes.
Yeah, I think that is all that I can do. But I'll stand strong regardless and
Okay. Mhm.
stand my ground.
Cool, perfect. So you're standing your ground as we then move to Sienna across the bridge. You've seen all these things get wiped out, and the rest of the group are fighting this elemental.
Yep, I'm not crossing that bridge. But I'm gonna move like a little bit closer. So I'm gonna stand over here and hope this thing is flammable as I hurl a firebolt at it.
Okay. Can you put up the firebolt? Oh, I can just click it here. Perfect.
Want me to?
Do-do-do.
Yes. Here you go. Oh, yeah, you already did it.
Perfect. So with the 27, you definitely hit. So please roll damage for me.
13.
13, and it is on a hit, the target takes 1d10 fire damage. Flammable object hit by the spell ignites.
Yeah, I don't know if it has any leaves or whatever. I mean, it's an earth elemental, so I assume not, but maybe because it was in the dirt and in the shrubbery, maybe it had some on it. I don't know.
I think the main question to ask is an earth elemental an object?
No, it is not an object. It is an elemental. I will say I'm gonna roll that it's not flammable. Unfortunately.
All good, but it still hurts.
13 damage, very nice. And I will say, Sienna, sorry, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Perfect. I will say that, Sienna, at this moment, being the only one on this side of the bridge, you actually notice that Vanessa, as you sort of hurl your firebolt, you notice that in the corner of your eye, Vanessa sort of shifts into the trees. She moves into the trees as you can no longer see her in sight. She steps away.
Okay.
Yep.
I make a mental image of that, or like a mental note of that.
Perfect. Cool. And with your 13 points of damage, we then move on to Flanagan, who is currently lying on the ground, prone, having been knocked off of Alfonso as he plummeted to the floor. Flanagan.
While prone, I like to think my arrows are strewn across all the floor because like my quivers like fell off, and I just hastily grab my bow and arrow and I fire one towards the creature, not in reach of any other arrows. So I fire this first one, which is a 22 to hit.
Hits.
For 9 points of damage, and then as I can't get to one of the other arrows, I just say, "Alfonso boy, stick him!" And I will make Alfonso, you want my bonus action for Alfonso to attack him as he gets up, goes on his hind legs and just claws towards the earth elemental.
Okay.
For an 11 to hit as he like scrapes across the rock.
Alfonso, caught off guard here, gets back on his hind legs and tries to claw at the elemental, who sort of shifts slightly, seeing this coming, as it unfortunately misses.
And then my second attack, I will make Alfonso beak towards towards some of the dirt on him as well, for 21,
Which definitely does hit. Yes.
For 10 bludgeoning.
Very nice.
No piercing.
Very nice. 10 piercing damage. Perfect. As sort of Alfonso claws and in frustration, beak attacks out and catches the earth elemental.
And then I stand up as well, but that's the end of my turn.
Perfect. As we then move to the earth elemental himself. So in this moment, having been hit from all angles, the earth elemental will, you know what, he will slam down towards Gamma, who has tried to gain his attention.
He's going to be on disadvantage from the sap.
He is correct.
Flail
He
attack.
is actually at disadvantage here for this turn. So an 18 to hit.
Meets it, beats it.
Perfect. As you take 13 points of damage, and for his second attack, he will attack Karuth next to Gamma for a nat 20 of 28. And I believe
Over barbs.
I'll allow it as a reaction. Yeah, with a 24 to hit.
It's less damage. I'll
It
take
is
it.
less damage. That is true. So
It's his third nat 20, by the way. Admittedly,
Yeah.
2 have been prevented.
yes, as you take 17 points of bludgeoning damage,
Okay.
and
Well, it could have been.
it's at this point where no, you know what? That will be the end of his turn. Yeah.
I will give advantage again to Drakenthal because he's next.
Yep. Drakenthal, you now have advantage on your first attack.
Yep.
Or save.
So it's my turn?
Yes.
Okay. I will attack with the flail. 22.
As a 22 does hit. Yeah.
7.
7 points of damage. Yep.
And then I will use my second attack to flail again. 14.
With a 14, unfortunately, you miss as the flail sort of swings past him. But yeah, anything else on the rest of your turn?
I guess I will use one. Nah, it's fine. No, it's that's the turn.
Okay, perfect, cool. As we then come to Kalara, who steadies herself, watching you flail towards. She will now attack with her scimitar. With a crit. I will also say she swings again with her scimitar with 21. So she's rolled a 26 and a 21. And we'll also do the nick damage in just a second. So crit damage, first of all, with 14 with her first attack, and then a further 4 damage with the second attack. In addition, she'll also use the nick damage, which will be essentially a third attack with her offhand, which is a 13, which unfortunately doesn't hit, but she does do a whopping 18 points of slashing damage to this creature. And she will end her turn there. Very nice turn from Kalara. As we then come to Gamma, who took a bit of a hit on the last turn from the elemental.
Yeah. How hurt is this thing looking? Is it looking pretty
As you look at
beat
it,
up?
you guys have been chopping away at it. You've thrown fire bolts at it. You've had all sorts of beak attacks and claw attacks coming towards it. It's definitely looking rough. You've seen bits fly off it. You've seen cracks come in some of the rocks on it.
All right.
You could say that this looks bloodied.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do my first attack. A 17.
Hits
Ooh. Okay. 11.
for 11 points.
Another
damage.
attack. 21.
Hits.
Another 11.
Okay.
Nah, I'm gonna end my turn. I'm in my turn.
You're gonna end your turn there.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it. I think the others can handle it.
As you slash both times with your what weapon are you using? It's a rapier.
It's my rapier. It's a rapier.
So you're sort of slashing it towards it with a rapier. As you do 22 points of damage, we then come to Bramble. As you look at this behemoth of an elemental in front of you.
I did my healing part, so now it's back to protecting the rest of my friends. So I'll position myself here, and then we go from the top with my first unarmed strike.
Perfect. Go ahead, right ahead.
Which is a 6.
That would be the damage, right? So
Wait.
it would be the attack.
This
roll.
one.
Yes, 24 does hit.
So I think do we take this first damage, or do you want me to roll?
Yeah, we'll take the first damage.
no
So
worries.
6 points of damage, which is actually a really nice. I think it's the lowest roll, so yeah, I'll take it. Six points of damage. Please continue.
Kabow!
As you
18.
punch again with your fist, 18 definitely does hit for an
Which is
additional
10.
10 points of damage.
Well, for the heck of it, we'll do it. Flurry of blows.
Okay,
So that's gonna be another unarmed strike, which is another 18
hits.
with a 7.
Okay, yep.
This time, I will impose my other skill, which is Wave the Open Hand,
Mhm.
which I'll put it in the
Yes.
chat.
Thank you very much. So the way of the open hand, which is the feet.
There we go. So I will impose the topple.
Topple, so the target must succeed a dexterity saving throw or have the prone condition. Let me quickly
Exactly.
check something here.
I won't try the push, so
Oh wow, actually, okay. I'm surprised by that. I thought it would have immunity, but it does not. So I will do a dexterity saving throw. As you... What was the DC for this?
14.
As you knock this elemental onto its, I guess, bouldered behind, as it sort of falls to the ground prone in front
Exactly.
of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wait. If he gets pushed 15 feet away from us, though, like
Does it
me
get-
and
It doesn't get
Me,
pushed
Karuk-
15 feet away because it was toppled, not pushed.
it's
okay,
toppled. Yeah.
okay.
So it just falls
Um,
prone in front of you.
And then I will hit it again with my last unarmed strike,
Perfect.
which is a
I
nat
will-
1.
Yeah.
It's prone, right? It's
It gets advantage. Yes.
Oh, it is
so it was a
advantage,
nat
true.
1, but because you have advantage, you instead roll a 19, which does
19!
hit
Let's go. Thank you, Matt.
for 11
Which is
points
an
of
11.
damage. As you just tell me how
Oh.
how do you do this?
Wait, I have to admit, does it? Because stunning strike gives it advantage, not the way of the open hand.
Prone. If any creature
get
is prone
advantage.
and you use a melee attack against it, any creature
Ooh.
using a melee attack gets advantage.
So Bramble,
Nice.
please tell me, how do you want to do this?
How I want to do this? Did not expect that.
As you knocked it prone and it's laying there with your fist coming in. Describe to me how you kill this.
Let's just go with an easy one because I don't like killing creatures. It was necessary because it attacked us. So I will hit it with an open hand to his feet. I guess. Does it have
Mhm.
feet?
I would for the point of conversation, I would say yes. It has what you believe would be feet. It's sort of standing like a humanoid figure above.
Two little rocks like. being
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
And from there you see like start to see cracks going through the entire body.
As they sort of shoot
Until-
up its body, up its legs, and then it sort of cracks into pieces and falls to just boulders in front of you.
And now we have like a million little mountain elementals to work now.
Fortunately, you don't. But what you do notice as you do this, and I would say that the rest of you also feel this too, as we come to the end of our combat, you do notice that the rumblings of the shards as they hit the ground, as it cracks before you, it almost gets a second wind or second life behind it, as both the water that shoots up the grass and along the blades, you can see the streams returning towards the altar as the earth elemental, the little chips of stone also crack all the way back and sort of fill in the hole in the ground where it emerged from. As congratulations, you guys have now finished combat. So yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lady Vanessa seems to have disappeared whilst we were in combat.
Well, she really didn't want to be here.
No, but
She's just an Ishtark.
But to remove herself from the situation, as we already killed over half of these creatures, that seems a bit odd.
Karut, I am unfamiliar with the term. What is an Ishtar?
Oh,
Ishtik.
it's a coward, in your words. Ishtik means non-Githyanki, which you all are. Though I must say you are all good Rashdil, which means good ally. Are you following?
I am happy to be on your good side.
I think my farm used to grow sticks.
Gam will
would
just
not be
walk up to the
surprised.
altar. 'Cause I did see something there the last week before the combat, and I was going to go grab it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I'm
would
gonna
s-
head right back to where I was going.
I would say that
And try to-
as you're doing this, Sienna, as you're coming across the bridge, the rest of the party have noticed these elementals have sort of gone back towards the shrine. You notice that the sprites' bodies on the floor, they almost seem to blossom into flowers as the bodies that lay on the ground in this area just turn, they almost sort of sink into the ground and become one with it. And from each of the bodies grows a small viridian flower. Yeah, that's what you notice. Sorry, Gamma, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and see what I found and try to pick it up.
Okay, so
What I saw. Yeah.
So as you arrive at the altar, you notice that in front of you is a sort of a gold chain, a very thin gold chain that wraps around. It's almost like an anvil-shaped altar, and on it is a sort of boulder-shaped, almost like a small neck without a head. It looks like there's something that was here before, and in front of you, you see this gold chain around this bust neck, with
Okay.
a locket on it.
I'll just grab it, and I'm gonna study it. Do I sense any magical, or is this, something of magical nature?
Can I have, you know what? Can I have from you first of all a perception check, and then secondly, and what are you trying to get from this? Is it a magic or?
Yeah, I mean, you know why I'm here. You know what I've been traveling for.
I
Like,
would say
does
that I need an Arcana check from you, please.
Okay,
Okay, with a
right.
24 for perception, the very first thing you see as you go to reach for it, you sort of grasp your hand around the amulet at the front and lift it off the altar. As you look at it, the amulet is old. It's older than the trees appear to be around you. It's older than the altar that houses it. You see that the chain, at first glance, you thought it was a golden color, but it's actually just a very tarnished silver. But
Yeah.
the true focus is the stone at its heart. It's a gem that seems to pulse like the dying embers of a star. It's warm in your hand as if it remembers light long forgotten. And it's at this moment that with an Arcana check of 17, you don't know what this is. You don't know what type of energy this is, but it feels powerful. It feels very, very strong. You feel a ton of energy coming from it. The only other time you felt something like this would have been probably...
From his dad, right?
Yes, I would say from your father.
Okay.
Now, I will say, as you pick this up, the rest of you also notice this. You see Gamma reach for the stone. But Drakenthal, as the others are marveling at the amulet, your trained eye immediately picks up something the rest probably would have missed. This is no ordinary gem that's cut into it. It's cut in a way that no modern craftsman such as yourself would shape it. Its facets almost impossibly symmetrical. The way it catches the light, it doesn't merely seem to reflect the moonlight around it or the lights from above. It's almost like it's drinking in the energy around it. in your years of working with gemstones, you've handled everything from celestial sapphires, dwarven rubies, even blessed opals of Ignicia, but never have you seen anything quite like this. You would recall... Actually, can I have a history check from you, Drakenthal, please? With a 4, you'd recall that you've heard of an old legend. You can't remember the name of it. You're not sure what it was.
Wait, that's an ability check, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
check.
yeah.
I would then like to use my tactical mind.
Okay, sure. Yep, I'm familiar.
Okay, so
So
I
it's a
roll
10.
a
Oh, you-
d10, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you roll a d10. So instead of being a 4, it is now a 5. So you've worked with all sorts of gemstones. You've handled,
I mean, it doesn't count as a fail, though, right?
It's
Like,
not a fail,
it's
no. It's just added on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But you've
I
worked
still
with all sorts of things. You recall an old legend. You can't quite remember what it was about, but you know that some stones are said... What you would know with a 5 is that there was a legend once of stones that were not mined but fallen. Stones that don't simply hold power but were once part of something greater. But with a 5, you don't know what that is.
I will share all of that with the party, and tell them like this is very old. This is unusual. It's almost like it's fallen from the heavens.
This could be an artifact of my people.
Gamma.
And
Yeah. Yep.
As you hear Sienna say this could be an artifact of her people, you feel the amulet almost has a warmth to it. Sienna, sorry, please continue.
oh, I was just gonna say I was initially more interested by the flowers growing from the corpses of the of the sprites. Like, oh, this could be a very nice new dye color. But can I move over and I mean I wouldn't take it from Gamma because I'm not like that. But can I just take a a closer look? Maybe do an Arcana check myself or something.
Gamma,
Yep.
as you're holding the stone,
Mm-hmm.
do you allow Sienna to look at it? Because you're the one holding the stone right now.
Yeah. I think at first there is a little struggle within Gamma as like he's found something that he's now just heard is like ancient and potentially powerful. And
Don't worry, I'll give it back to you. I just want to take a look.
he will let her take a look at it. He'll let her.
Okay, Sienna. So, but when you say Sienna takes a look at it, can you describe the scene to me? How exactly are you looking at this? Do you take hold of it? Do you look at him holding it? How do you go about this?
I think I would like maybe very carefully pick it up out of like. I mean, I assume he's like holding it like this, and I would like, very, very gently, very carefully pick it up, and then maybe just hold it in front of my face and
Mhm.
look at the stone and try and maybe try and sort of infuse some of my magical energy into it.
Okay, perfect. As you're doing that, can I ask you to roll an Arcana check for me, please? As you sort of brush
The
your
26.
fingers with a 26, you will come back to this. But as your fingers first grab the locket or the amulet with this gemstone in it, your fingers gently brush the gem. There's a flicker, faint but real. The world around you doesn't shift, but for just a moment you feel as though you are elsewhere. Standing before you appears a forge, no longer the altar. Where the altar once stood is a forge. And it's not of this world. Watching over you is a shadowed figure that appears to hammer something into existence. Heat rushes over you, not painful, not powerful, but as you're standing there, you can feel this feels like the creation point of this amulet. And then suddenly the vision vanishes and you're back. You're standing in the grove. The amulet is still in your hand, and now the stone is cooler than before, as if it too had just remembered something long forgotten. And I will say, with an Arcana check of 26, you feel an immense power coming from this amulet. Something you haven't felt for a long time, but yet it feels very familiar. It feels as though there's more energy coming from this one amulet than the whole of this ancient grove around you.
I give it back to Gamma because that's what I promised. And I'm like, this is a very powerful amulet. Extremely powerful, extremely ancient. If you want to take this, take good care of it.
Are we supposed to give this amulet to the tower people? What if we could harness it? Why would we do it if some stupid book told us to give it to some tower?
As you say that, I would say that Kalara will pull out the book that she's had in her possession. And because Drakenthal, you're the closest, as she wants to sort of polish her blade, she'll hand the book to you. So you now are in possession of the book. It's still a leather-bound book with a purple gemstone in it, and it's closed, but she's handed it to you as she begins to polish her blades whilst you're talking.
I guess I open the book as she hands it to me.
You open the book?
Yeah.
In the book, you see in front of you, you say, "Find it." I'm just remembering the exact words I used. "Find it, bring it to me." And underneath is the initials T.W.
Wasn't it T.V?
It was. Yeah, it changed or it completed. Maybe.
As you look at it, you notice that the T.V, where it was previously, is still there, but it's now a W, and there's a second dot.
Well, this is definitely tracking what we're doing. I think.
Why do you say that, Master Drakenthal?
Well, changed now, as we got the amulet.
All right.
There's new writing.
What does it say?
Well, it just added a TW initials.
Oh.
T.W.
Oh, right, for like Whisperwind.
Probably.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
But coming back to that question, do you guys think it's a good idea to give this ancient, powerful amulet to someone we don't even know? And we don't know why we're here anyway. Like, they clearly needed us. But...
Well, but what are we to do? There's many of us, and I assume... I mean, we cannot split this ancient amulet into 6.
No, you certainly can't. But I'll tell you now, if you were to hand it into the Coalition, there'd be a hefty reward for you all for handing it in. And I would more than happily take it upon myself to make sure that this was safely given back to one of those Coalition's free city-states. By all means, you can all accompany me, and I'll make sure you get that reward. I will take no part in said reward, because it's my job as an officer of the law.
Or we can find out what it actually does, and the people willing can stick together and use it for their own success.
Or that.
I'll go for that.
But what
Gamma has
if
been
we,
holding it.
help people into power we don't want to have be in power?
Exactly. We
Agreed.
could be the ones in power. Surely, if they set us up to do it, we are stronger than them because they couldn't do it themselves.
I'm also
Not what I meant, but okay.
I'm not
Well, they
entirely
clearly
sure.
need us to do this.
I'm not entirely sure we're the best qualified for such a thing either, you know. Some of us seem a little more rough around the edges than others. You know, just speaking from a officer of the law's standpoint.
I've been holding the amulet for a while. Does it still feel warm? Like, or now that, Sienna's held it, is it now cold? Is it now cooler, or?
Now that you've had the amulet back in your hand, I would say that
Mhm.
it's cooler to the touch.
Okay.
You initially don't feel much from it. If you'd like to investigate it or look into it more whilst the others are having these conversations, let me know. But you feel like it's sort of just an amulet that you're not really sure what to make of it. You just know that it's the last time you felt something as, if not close to powerful, would have been when your father was involved.
Yeah.
Here's an idea, Mr. Lawman. Why don't we take the amulet to the person who's requiring it, and then find out if we think they are nice? If they're nice, we will ask for a hefty reward. If they're not nice, we kill them and harness the power ourselves.
Well, I don't know if maybe killing them would be the right thing to do as a law-abiding citizen as yourself. But what I do think would happen is if they're not nice people and we can prove that with some sort of criminal evidence, then maybe what we could do is, and I pull out some manacles, lock them up, put them in a cell, get them trialed,
Oh, yeah, we do those
All right.
customs at my... And we torture them.
Oh,
Alright,
I think
alright.
maybe after this is all over, me and you might need a little sit down.
You do not get to tell me what the laws are of my land.
Okay.
It starts
okay.
to feel like
We-
you guys need meditation.
I
So
agree.
maybe-
let's take all a deep breath through your nose, hold it, and release.
And as this is
I
I
happening,
can't
Happening.
hold
Rinsing
it, I
my
don't have a
breath.
nose.
You saw what happened earlier, right?
the lot of you are having this conversation. Gamma, holding
Uh-oh.
the stone,
Yeah.
will come to you.
Yeah.
What's happening with you?
Okay. I'm just gonna put it on for the time being. I guess I'm the holder of the powerful stone. I guess as
you-
it was given back.
So you
So
wear it.
Gamma just kind of. Yeah. Why the fuck not? It's given to me. Why not? Fucking wear it.
Okay, as you put the amulet on yourself,
I die.
no, you don't die.
Oh.
But for a brief second, as you put it over your eyes, as the stone goes past your face, as the chain goes around your face, you are, for just a moment, you catch a flicker of a glimpse. It's almost like catching a fire flicker, right? It's a very faint image of what appears to be a forge, like sort of ancient forge with a tall, shadowy figure hammering away. What you notice about this tall, shadowy figure is that he's as tall as he is wide. And he's hammering away at this forge. But you only notice this for a split second. It's almost like you have a sort of out of body experience for just a moment.
Okay. Interesting. I
You
will
s-
relay that to everybody. Just tell them I caught a glimpse of a
Wait, so
forge.
you're telling me that his stature is that of a square?
Sure, if that's.
Or does he have little legs like a triangle?
No, he's as big as he is tall. I don't know how you get
Aye.
triangle out of that.
Skip leg day,
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, anyway, Alfonso, come here. And I cast Cure Wounds on Alfonso.
Perfect. You cast Cure Wounds on Alfonso, and you can see that when you're doing so, he's obviously thankful, and he looks down at the scar on his hand, on like his sort of arm, before looking up, and you catch, as you're talking to Alfonso Flanagan, you catch that though you guys left near dusk, you catch in his eyes what appears to be the moon or stars as he looks over to you, as it's now nightfall.
Oh, no, you're right, Alfonso. Right, excuse me, everyone. So I've come to the conclusion that right now it's nightfall, and it's probably best if, we find somewhere to rest up rather than traveling in the dark, you see. Because many dangers in these forests, and if we were to travel, we might attract unwanted attention. Plus, that little rapscallion that left us earlier, well, we don't know where she is. She could be lurking in these woods looking to pounce. So I suggest you all follow me, and I'll make us a nice little retreat for the evening.
Sure, let's sleep on the matter.
Sure, but do make sure we do have some nice, I don't know, food or something. Do you have like military rations? Do we have a full proper meal? What are the accommodations?
Oh, Mr. Bramble, remember that berry I gave you? Fill you right up, that will, lad.
Good one, good one.
And he just pops one in his mouth. Delicious.
I guess I will eat the little berry.
Yeah.
It instantly makes you full.
Yeah.
And it
And
restores
one hit
health,
point, right?
1 hit point, instantly full.
Yay.
And I just flick one into Alfonso's mouth as well.
Perfect.
And then another, because he's still hungry.
So he just sort of, you see the beak opens, and then he sort of looks at you, and the beak is open. It went straight down the gullet, but he's still hungry somehow, which is the opposite of what gooseberries are meant, or good berries are meant to do. Not gooseberries.
And it
So-
tastes like a gooseberry.
It does. So, question to all of you then is, what are you doing now? What's next?
Well, Alfonso wants to lead us to a safe camp.
Oh no, you're mistaken there, Mr. Drakenthal. My name's Flanagan. Flanagan Thistlewick.
Oh, I thought he's in charge, but sure, Flanagan. Lead then.
No, you are technically correct. I was the one that suggest. Don't worry about it. I'll set us up a little canopy. Don't worry. You just stand right there.
And Flanagan, can I have a perception check from you, please?
Sure. 28.
With a 28, being a ranger who knows the areas, who knows how to live off the land, you've experienced hardship, you've had to travel, you've got really good survival instincts. As a guard of a town, you often had to be on the outskirts, living it rough. You noticed that actually across the river where you guys came in, there's a clearing where you would be able to get fresh water from the river, a decent place to set up tents, and you also notice that there are clouds coming in around you. This might be a decent place to set up camp, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I think if that's what I spot, I will certainly head on over there and do so. I've got a couple of blankets, which what I want to do is I want to use the rope that I've got to tie them to the trees above to make a roof canopy, and then I'm going to place leaves, twigs, and stuff on top of them, so that way that the water doesn't just seep immediately through. It like hits them, then hits the blankets. And that's basically the plan: is to tie rope between trees to sort of make something to give us a shelter for the evening, and then with whatever I've got left, maybe put the bedrolls underneath and put the little campfire underneath. So
Can I
some
ask,
sort of shelter.
which of you actually have tents on you? Because I know Kalara does have one. Does anybody
do
have
not.
any tents?
Not
I
in
don't
my
think I-
sheet, but I would have one lore-wise. But
I will say
my
that
sheet-
Sienna does have one. And Flanagan, you notice that all this time there's been a bag satchel being pulled around by Alfonso, and you don't really know what's in it. He gestures to you as you're sort of, you've got your hands on your hips, you're looking at this area ahead of you. He sort of gestures to you and yawns as Alfonso sort of really loud yawn roar
Oh.
towards you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll set your tent up in just a moment. And yeah, I start clambering up trees and try to tie this this canopy up top in the trees.
Perfect. So as you do so, I would say you guys move back across the river, and the reason why I'd say that is you've set up a little campsite for yourself, where you've got some fresh running water. You have this sort of canopy that you've set up, Flanagan, in between the trees. I would say that's just over here, between sort of two sort of long ropes holding up the majority of the weight between two tree stumps. And the rest of you have a moment to take a breather and collect your thoughts. You notice that for the first time since being here, it's silent. You hear nothing. There's nothing. There's no footsteps. There seems to be nothing in the treetops. There's no breeze. You only hear a slight trickle of the occasional raindrop as it hits the fertile ground beneath your feet. And it is with that said that I think we should take a quick, short break to refresh ourselves before we come back and let our characters do the same. So yes, we will be right back. Woo. All right, guys. As you arrive, you've set up your camp. You are now sitting down. One of you has pulled together a campfire. I'd like to think maybe Drakenthal, you aided as Bramble was there trying to gather leaves and things, and you're not sure if she was even making a campfire, but you just breathed onto it and set up this little campfire. The rest of you have set up tents and camps. Kalara shared one of her tents to one of you. You're now here in the grotto. There's a light pitter-patter of rain every now and then on the sort of fertile ground around you. It's an ancient, untouched grotto. You've battled it out. You've used a lot of ability and a lot of strength to try and overcome this test, as it was described to you earlier. You're now sitting here with the moon above you. The stars are out. The forest is quiet. What do you do?
I would grab what's in my pack, like my charts and my quills, my ink, my maybe I have like a little like a tiny loom that I can bring somewhere to make like, you know, some sort of practice patterns, and I'm just gonna do what I do every night. I'm gonna craft stuff.
Yeah, so you pull out your pocket-sized loom, which you know are extremely common in this world. These pocket looms that a lot of the artificers who create tapestries or write fabulous stories and scripts or graphics of any kind to try and sort of tell a story, and you sort of have all of this out with you. You pull out your quill. It's almost like you knew you were going to get teleported here. You had everything on you. You always have your artisan belt wrapped around your waist with inks and quills ready to go at a moment's notice. And I sort of picture Sienna beneath the stars, almost as if seeming to find some inspiration here as you sort of get away with your craft and you go into sort of a peaceful place.
That's exactly what the vibe the vibe I was going.
Yeah. The rest of you?
Drakenthal will be, sitting by the fire and taking out a whetstone and sharpening his longsword. And also like taking off his armor and polishing it and just making sure everything's still nice and working. And pondering in his thoughts that gemstone that just hasn't left his mind, the legend that popped into his head, but he couldn't quite grasp and remember. And he keeps pondering that, and when he's done doing that, he would probably walk around the compound, maybe towards the altar, try have a look. Maybe he can recall something about the legends. Or,
Yeah, and by all means, you can move your character around and we'll come back to you in a moment as you sort of go over towards the altar. The rest of you, what are we up to this evening? It's a peaceful evening. All you can hear is the occasional pitter patter of raindrops.
I think for Bramble, especially in like the beginning of the evening, he is at a tree. Um, he is a very disciplined monk, and one of the teachings that his master had for him was to practice his defensive stance movement rituals. So he's doing that upon the tree, not like the attacking strikes, but more like the defending strikes against branches and such. Occasionally whispering stuff to potential birds or insects or other creatures that might be around. But after that, after a while, being done with his, well, you can say evening ritual, he will venture back to the fireplace to sit down with some comrades and eventually wait if anyone is up for conversation.
Perfect. And I would say that as you're there, sort of almost performing these defensive, it's almost like a ritual for you that you would perform not on a nightly basis, but whenever it comes to you, and you're sort of performing these defensive maneuvers, you notice being quite sort of perceptive in especially with nature and having these sort of natural surroundings around you. You would notice that you have the occasional sort of bird, or more like an owl, like a night creature, sort of going around. You see that in the water there's actually the occasional sort of small pond fish in the sort of river pond ahead of you. You actually do see there's the occasional frog moving around. And I'd like to think that Bramble, almost because he's trying to keep it down, not just because he's gentle with nature, but because he realizes that a lot of the birds in the area would be asleep now, he's sort of under his breath whispering to these creatures before he then returns to the campfire. Just really gentle in nature and with nature. And I think that's a really nice thing to picture. Just the frogs literally hopping from side to side, sort of acknowledging you and your presence without being afraid of you, despite your towering figure.
I know, like I'm 7'3" and like this very big guy. So, but apparently animals like me. So yeah.
Perfect. And you sort of sit down. I'd like to think that whilst some of you put together tents and the campfire and things, those of you who are less used to sleeping on the road maybe pulled over a log to sit on. I know that Gamma, you're leaning up or sitting on this rock, and we'll come to you in just a moment on sort of what you're doing. But we see currently Caruth and Flanagan sitting down by the fire. Caruth, now that we've had Bramble come all the way back and sit down next to you, and it's sort of even though he's 7 foot plus, he sits down ever so gently, as if not making a single noise. You don't even hear the grass move as he sits down. What are you doing at this time?
I think when you look at Karut, you would see she's put her weapon down and she's pulled out her pocket knife. She started carving into a piece of wood what looks to be the shape of maybe a dragon.
Okay.
But it's quite hard, so she's struggling a little bit, but she's just sort of carving away.
You know what? Can I have a performance check from you, please?
Oh, God, I am not a performance person. I have a
I'll
minus
also
to that.
allow sleight of hand. Those are the two I'll go with.
Okay, yeah, I'm a little bit better at that.
Okay.
19.
With a 19, this carving, as you're sort of chipping away the tree branch as you're sort of carving away in this wood, it is noticeably a dragon. And upon first glance, anyone else who looked at it would think maybe this is Drakenthal in terms of features. But then you've got the head and now you've got the wings coming through, and you managed to do it without any of it falling off. So it stays very much in shape. You've got a very intricately carved dragon. With a 19, I would say you've successfully carved quite a decent dragon figurine out of wood. But you're sort of carving away at it slowly. Anything else that you're doing? Are you sitting by the fireplace whilst the others are...
I'm sitting by the fireplace. Flanagan, what are ishtiks to you?
Oh, well, aye, they're, type of corn, I think.
Really?
Aye?
You have weird words here. Why did I imagine them to grow from the earth?
What, the words? No,
Erd.
words are formulated from books and writing and vocabulary. That's a big word.
How'd you spell that?
I wouldn't know. Home tutored, I'm afraid.
And I think Flanagan, whilst you're having this conversation, Caruth is just there chipping away at this. I
would say
wood carving.
Flanagan has been going back and forth to the lake, fetching water in like his pans because he's got his cook's utensils out, and he's been collecting water, and he's been boiling the water over the campfire. But what he's also started to do once the water's cooled is he's chopping up an apple and like a lemon, and he's sprinkling the apple and lemon bits into the water to let them soak, so that the water itself becomes like a flavored. And then after some time, he's straining that into his water skins, so he has like flavored water in his water skins. And he only has the two water skins, one of which you all know is liquor based, and the other now citrusy water. But there's loads of water in this bucket that he's clearly not using. And if anyone eyes it up, he's like, "Would you like me to fill yours up?"
And can I ask, what is Alfonso doing at the moment? Is he sort of calm and collected, laying by the water?
I think because he's probably taken a bit of a knock in the last fight, he's laying under the tree, the singular tree by the water's edge, and yeah, he's just got his back to the tree, he's just got his paws out, head on his paws, and he's slowly starting to drift off into a sleep. And every now and then he like stirs, and looks around, and then like slowly starts to drift off again. It's like he wants to be on watch, but he took a pretty nasty knock and he's tired.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and Flanagan doesn't mind. Like he leaves him to it. There's a couple of bits of like fruit next to next to Alfonso that Flanagan's given him in case he wants some food. And he's also got some of this citrusy water that he's put in like a very deep dish, which he's put next to Alfonso in case he wants some of it as well.
Yeah, I imagine
yeah.
It's one that's on Alfonso as you're traveling around. He sort of has
he just like
almost like a
unclips
bowl.
it, fills it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he unclips it, puts it next to him, and as Caruth is asking him various questions of vocabulary and the crops he grows, yeah, he like looks at her and he swears for a second, like she eyes up the water that he's like scenting, and he's just like, would you like me to fill your water skin up with some of my juice? I promise you.
She, like-
Look, here. He sticks a ladle in, and then like he offers you the ladle to like taste.
You can see she's a bit taken aback by it and your customs here, but she'll shrug. She'll take the ladle. She'll take a taste.
Yeah, and I think it's water, right? But there's a slight hint of like fruitiness to it.
This is quite nice. We don't get to enjoy tasteful things. We just eat for nutrition, drink to survive.
Oh, well, you can do that, but that takes the fun out of food, don't it?
She shows her like ration bars, and she's like, "This is all we get."
I'll make you something truly delicious. I got a couple of potatoes in my pack.
You kind of see her eyes sort of, her pupils dilate, and she's like, "Oh, you ain't that bad. Go on, fill up my water skin, please."
And no, not a problem. You know that word, right? Potato? As like he pours into a strainer into your water skin.
I know potatoes, as I do tomatoes.
Ooh, ooh, they're quite nice.
Tomatoes we use for embarrassment purposes.
Oh. What?
People get covered in them before their execution, you see.
No, yes, your execution. Well, the funny thing you talk about, did you know that the apples are made up of 84% of water, as well as cucumbers, 96%, and the earthworm, who would have believed it, 80% water? Some of these It's incredible, right? Execution, more like peanuts. Peanuts are not nuts at all. They're actually part of the bean and lentil family, you know?
And with that, as you guys are having these discussion, I would say, Karuth, you're clearly a little bit like you're interested, but more to sort of be polite because he was polite to you. I would say, as you two are having this conversation, Bramble sat back down next to you both. You can see Kalara is very much, she's polished off her blades, she's sitting down, she's probably performing a prayer of sorts to Azulara, the goddess of misfortune, who is her sort of god, her divine being, and doing sort of her paladin rites before she sits down and keeps at peace by the campfire as well. I would like to come to next Gamma before we come to Drakenthal. Gamma, what have you been doing this period as you sort of stood next to the stone here?
I like to think he's actually on top of the stone. I think he's trying to use it as like something to lean back on and just kind of relax. I think he's like, part of him's listening to the conversation going on over there. And I think for the first time he does kind of crack a smile at Flanagan. I think Flanagan's quite funny to him. But I think while he's doing that, I think he just grasped onto his necklace that he's been wearing this whole time. And I think he's kind of just doing his usual routine at night, just thinking and enjoying the night sky.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And I would say that as you're sitting there with the necklace around you and the amulet in your hand every now and then,
he's not holding on to the amulet. He's holding on to the willow tree necklace that he's
okay.
had this whole time.
Okay, the necklace that you have. As he's holding the willow tree necklace that you've been wearing since the beginning of basically this adventure of yours, I'd like to think that you're sort of reminiscing about the past and maybe the good moments of the past and the things that you've not been able to hold on to as much since you left home. Would there be anything that would come to mind whilst he's sitting here, whilst he's reminiscing? Any fond
I think
memories?
one thing that really comes to mind is him and his daughter were like running around out in front of the house, and there's like wooden swords they're holding on to, and he's just having a good time with her, smacking the swords against each other, and looking over, he sees his wife and his son looking over a book, and she's reading it to him, and they're just having a nice time, and they're having like a little family picnic of sorts throughout the day. And remembers this fondly because it's like the last day that he had with them before everything took place. And I think it's just a good memory and reminds him of.
Would you say that you're feeling, I know you're reminiscing a little bit here, but would you be happy? Would you feel like a warmth for that memory? Is there sort of a positive feeling? I think it. As you feel that sort of warmth, that sort of image in your mind brings you to, although it's mainly a positive sort of thought that you're having, you feel the amulet which you're now wearing almost feels like it's warm, but not warm as in a touch, warm like comfortable. You feel an ease rush through your body, and it's sort of you almost feel as if it's coming from the amulet initially. It's almost like all of your nerves have calmed as you're sitting there on this stone. And I would say that with that, we then come over to Drakenthal, who has been walking around the camp a little bit, has returned over the bridge to the altar itself. And Drakenthal, what are you doing over here on your own?
Well, after polishing his swords and his armor and all that, he's just standing there, in his not undergarments, but whatever he wears under the armor, and just standing in front of the altar, inspecting it, and thinking of the past, of his family, and of the stories told, and that particular gemstone
Mhm.
that we found here, and just reminiscing of the past, and also that legend that lingered in the back of his head,
I would
of
say that
fallen gemstone.
coming here and seeing the altar and having some time to think about it, can I have, please, from you a history check to see what you recall of the legend, having had some time to think and process? A 19. With a 19,
Can I add another 10 on that?
how would you intend to do so?
Like the with the tactical mind again, could I roll another d10 to
Uh,
add?
yeah,
more
in theory, you
painful.
could do that. You
Yeah?
could, as long as you have a use of second wind,
I have. Yeah.
then yeah,
I
in
have
theory, you
three-
could do
three.
that.
Cool. And I will do that. Add a 7 then. 26.
Okay,
then.
26. With a 26, it suddenly clicks to you. You suddenly remember. You remember, it's though something switches on. And you recall the moment you were sitting with the band of mercenaries that you're with, and how you weren't allowed to tell a specific tale from your past, from your lineage, your history. You recall standing. It's almost as if you have a vision of your past, where you recall standing as just a young dragonborn with your father, who's working away, forging weapons and jewelry, and he's enchanting items in front of you to sort of bless them, and you're holding on to your family emblem on your own necklace. And as you look down, you sort of look at it, and you notice that the stones used for the eyes glisten. In this memory, you ask your father about, why are they so shiny? Why is this the stones on the dragon emblem that sort of goes around your family heirloom emblem? He looks to you and says, those are nothing compared to the gem of the skies. And you hear him sort of in this moment. From what you recall, he told you a story of gemstones sent from the heavens itself, sent from above, a celestial energy, a stone unlike anything else, which were so rare, so unique, that even witnessing one in your own lifetime was said to be the stuff of legends. That's what you recall. He named them
Okay.
the Celestial Stones.
He will keep sitting, or like kind of leaning onto the altar, and just he will be standing there still for a long while, thinking about that, like not just having the vision, so to speak, but just pondering the thought, and pondering whether he should share this forbidden memory almost with the rest of the party. And then he will slowly walk back and I guess find the rest where they're sitting by the campfire.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So now the rest of you are sort of returning, and I would say that as you're all sitting around the campfire, and you've got Gamma over on the rock, you have Sienna working the loom, it's at this point when those of you sitting at the campfire see a light flicker in the corner of your eye coming from Gamma. Gamma, as you feel this warmth, you notice that there's almost a light in front of you. You feel you can see everybody much better than you could, as the stone itself, embedded in the amulet you're now wearing, has almost a starlight look to it. It's very bright, very powerful, and this sort of flicker of light, as you guys feel it and see it touch and feel it touch your skin, you feel that same warmth which I described for Gamma. You feel that same warmth echo through your body. Sienna, unfortunately, where you are, you notice a light in the corner of your eye, but you don't feel the sort of warming effect. You just see everyone else as they turn to look at Gamma. And Gamma, you're almost unsure why they're looking at you.
You mind turning that thing off?
Turning what off?
Poor Alfonso over here is trying to sleep.
The light, Gamma.
The light? You guys think
You are
I
shining.
have a light? I don't know if that's a compliment or you guys are. Is that supposed to be a compliment? You guys.
No,
No?
you're shining like a light. Not glowing like a pregnant lady, shining like a light.
What? Where do you even get. What does that come from? Where do you get pregnant lady from? Out of
Well,
glowing?
We don't know
We
where
know.
it comes from, but there's a
Pregnant
light
ladies
coming from
glow.
you.
They have a glow on them, don't they? They say that their skin is the best it possibly can be during pregnancy.
Thanks, Flanagan.
Well, it's
Can I-
okay.
Can I ask for a perception check, please, from Caruth, Flanagan, Bramble? I would say Drakenthal, as you come back over the bridge, you probably also saw it, so perception from you as well, please. And I'll say Kalara is looking the other way as she hasn't seen this.
23.
23, 24, wow. 23, 24, 23. You guys
I
all
don't miss.
notice with this that the light that seems to have come through, it's almost as if it was a very strong star in the sky. It was what you noticed with this light, though it was almost like a flicker of energy coming off a fire. As you look to him, the glitter, the sort of glow is almost like you're looking up at the stars themselves.
Is it still shining, or was it like a flicker?
It was temporary, and it still has a slight look on it, almost like it does look like there's sort of small stars or specks of light in it in the stone itself, almost like it's reflecting the heavens itself, but it isn't glowing like it just did, not as brightly. With a 24, that's what you guys would see.
Oh, thanks for turning it down a notch. Appreciate it.
I don't. I didn't turn anything down. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Gamma,
Have
do
you-
you have questions or thoughts about something? Did you ask yourself something? Did you see something around you? Maybe it triggered something in that stone?
Huh?
Never mind, he's done.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've got questions all the time, so you might be right. Maybe you've got a
I
question.
don't
already
have
that you're
any
thinking of.
questions. I have.
Have you ever wondered
Just
how
like
many seeds a strawberry has? Because I know.
I don't care how many seeds are in a strawberry. Yeah, cool to know, Flanagan.
Gamma,
Hello.
you were looking for something, right?
I am.
So maybe were you thinking about the things you were looking for?
No, I wasn't looking. I wasn't thinking about the thing I'm looking for. I'm thinking
Are you
about other
now?
things.
So what things?
Yes, now I would be thinking. Okay, can we stop this thing we're doing?
Okay.
Yeah,
What are you
Just-
thinking about now?
I'm thinking about what I'm out here to do now because you guys have brought it up. So obviously, you saying I'm out here for something will make me think about the something. I'm
What were
out
you
here to
thinking
get.
just now before? What were you thinking about then?
About my family, of course. I mean,
Oh,
Well,
that's
what-
nice.
yeah, thank you.
It
Are
is
they
now
dead?
that I sort of hear this ruckus coming from the campfire. I'm like, if it bothers you, I can study it a little bit more if you like. then they will leave you alone because you won't be shining anymore.
Before you study it, maybe, can you guys all come over here? Like, I had a thought about this, a long thought about this stone.
Why don't we all just
And-
go to the campfire and then
He will then share about recalling that legend, because clearly this stone is, reacting and special. So he will share that it's a celestial gemstone. It's a very rare thing to fall from the skies, almost as if it's sent by the gods. It's very powerful.
Yeah, you would relay the sort of what you remember from your father's telling of the legend, which is basically these sort of said to be like almost not of this earth. They're so unique, so rare, said to have descended from the heavens themselves. These celestial stones, which almost reflect the heavens. They're said to be so unique, so rare that even encountering one in your lifetime is unheard of.
You're telling me rock fell out of the sky, someone found it, put it in a necklace, left it in a blooming forest?
Have I ever told you about? Excuse me, of course I haven't. But have you
Don't
ever
even know your
heard?
name, so I don't think so.
Yeah, yes, I haven't quite introduced myself. My name is
That's okay.
Siana,
Oh, pleasure.
and
Glad I
I
could
don't
fit
know.
through it.
I don't know if you've heard of my race, the Celestar. I don't know if you're
Silver?
familiar. I don't know if you're familiar with their backstory or like their history.
And it's at this point where I imagine you've
Yeah.
said this to everybody in the group, in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who would like to try and recall what they remember, please, if you could do a history check for me to see what you know of the Celestar race.
I think it's safe to assume Flanagan doesn't know.
Yep. Okay. So I would say, Caruth, you actually have advantage,
Yeah.
and we'll come to why. Anybody else? Is that everybody? We've got Drakenthal, Gamma, Bramble, Caruth, Kalara. I would say that Kalara probably. You know what? Let's do a check for Kalara. See. Where is she? Okay, Kalara doesn't know. Cool. So we have a 14 for Gamma, 21, a 15 for Drakenthal, 21 for Bramble, a 16 for Caruth, and a 4 for Kalara. So Kalara and Caruth with a 16 actually. I would say Gamma, you have heard of Celestar as a race. You have seen them around. You know that they are often very spiritual and almost as a race themselves. It's not like an elf. It's almost like a radiant being. You know them to have sort of a astral-like touch to their skin. They have sort of a almost very similar to what we have with Siana here. Sort of light-colored hair, some eyes that almost have like a sparkle to them, which is otherworldly. It's similar to your stone in a lot of ways, that sort of celestial touch that it has. What you would all know, those of you who rolled above a 15, you would know that Celestar are a race which are said to have descended from either humans or elves. Essentially, what was rumored was that the Celestar was once of this world, and during a event referred to as the Astral Rift, a tear to the astral plane opened, and those who ventured in, elves and humankind who ventured through the Astral Rift, were caught there and trapped as it then sealed itself closed. It wasn't until the convergence, almost 1,000 years later, that those same Celestar, those same elves and humans returned from the astral rift through the astral plane onto the mortal plane as all the rifts opened during the convergence, and they had an almost looked like they'd been touched by the astral plane itself, as though living on the astral plane alongside the Githyanki and other beings, feeding into the celestial energies available there. The astral energies affected them in such a way that it bonded with their skin. Their very biology changed as they lived and breathed on the other plane. And it was only when they came back through the convergence that they returned to the planet now. Many of whom are said to be the ancestral elves from Sylvanthal who traveled away. The ancestral elves from the area that you are in now were said to have lost at least 2,000 souls who went into this astral rift, with only 1,000 returning. Any of the current Celestar you see today are said to be descendants of those original elves. So that's Celestar history. You guys would know that the Celestar is a very unique race, and coming across them is very rare, similar to that of Aasimar, which you also have in Kalara in your party. And they're very, very rare. So Sienna, introducing yourself and telling you of Celestar, this is the first time that you've clocked that. Wait a minute, this is one of those, or a descendant of one of those who came back and had lived on the astral plane. Much of the energy and affinity for magic that they have is said to have come from that venture over by their ancestors. So that's what you would know. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
go on.
Yeah, no. Oh, wow. We once lived in a different place, or at least I never did, but my ancestors did. In that other place, we merged with celestial fragments, so to speak. And because of cataclysmic events, we eventually returned here. Maybe the stone you have is something similar, like a piece of, like a celestial soul that you can cling to. Might give you powers, might not. It would be worth looking into for anyone, I think.
We can't give that to those whisper winds, then, can we? That other lady said she was a bad man. We can't give the soul of a celestial being to a whisper wind.
Now you're starting to get it, Flanagan. We
No, I
keep it
still don't
ourselves.
stand with your execution policies, and we will speak about that at length
No.
after all of this. But for now, we can find ourselves as allies, or the word was
Rashtil.
Rashtil. Well, there we go. For now, we will be Rashtil, and not Ishtik. Is that right?
Correct, unless you're talking
Good.
about the food.
I am so
right.
happy that after a few hours of talking, you guys seem to have become together already. It is such
Well, I probably still will have to arrest her after all of this, but for now, we'll let it slide.
You can try,
Whoa,
but you will not succeed, little man.
Oh, I can assure you, I will.
Okay, it took him 5 seconds to go back at each other. Wonderful.
I just kinda
All the
give-
work done.
I give Flanagan a little
You
pat
kinda
on the
did that.
shoulder, as in like just to chill out, to wool down a little bit.
Mhm. And I would say,
I believe I have not broken any of your customs, is all I will say.
No, I don't think you have, but you know, if you're planning on executing someone by dousing them in tomorrows, then we need a conversation.
I would say that as you guys have this sort of discourse back and forth, and you know, a lot of you sit around the campfire. I imagine Flanagan shares some of his flavored water with the group, and you begin to hear Alfonso like snoring, basically. You know, it's sort of like a deep guttural snore. As you hear him snoring, it becomes aware to you guys that you've sat around the fire for some time, and the night is getting on. The rain has stopped and it's very peaceful. Some of you might start to feel a bit tired, a bit weary from the day's travel, and those of you who would want to get a full long rest, sort of feeling rested and ready for the day ahead, might want to head to sleep.
Yeah, will do.
Is there anything anyone else does before this happens?
I'll make sure to take a watch tonight. Don't you worry. I'll patrol this camp, but I might need some help.
I will too. I can help
Thank
take a watch.
Perfect. So
I will
it's,
take
everyone-
last
We
watch
taking
if-
turns?
If needed.
I imagine
Take
that
turns.
you guys each at some stage switch
Yeah.
roles and have sort of
Yeah.
a 1 or 2 hour sleep. And I'd say that after a couple of hours or you've been here for some time talking to one another, you feel comfortable enough letting each other guard over and watch over you. Do you all retire to get some rest?
Before we go to sleep, I will walk up to Sienna
Mm-hmm.
and I will reach out a hand to hers.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
And as she does, I will pull the necklace off and I'll tightly grip it. I'll place it in her hand, fold her hand onto it to have it clasp the necklace. I don't know a thing about your history and your people. As much as I am in need of something like this, I cannot take what doesn't belong to me, and this feels like it belongs to you and your people.
Oh, but it doesn't belong to me either. I mean, it's very kind of you, but I already have a celestial soul
I be-
inside me.
I believe
If
this
you, wa-
is
if,
meant.
if you want to keep it, keep it.
I think this is meant to be with you. You take it
will
for
say-
now, study it, understand it, and at the end of this, if it doesn't meet the standards of which you want it to
I'm
be, I will gladly take it back.
I might be wrong. It might be something else completely, but the glow feels familiar somewhat. But if it's nothing, if it doesn't have anything to do with my people, I will immediately give it back to you. But thank you. I appreciate the gesture.
Of course.
Okay, so between the
And
two of
I'll
you,
retire.
which one of you's now got the stone? Just so I'm aware going forward.
She does.
So Sienna, you're holding onto the stone. Do you do anything before you retire? I imagine everyone else has headed to sleep now or is lying down, getting ready for bed. Sienna.
I will unrelated to the stone, I will chart the stars to know exactly where we are in the this plane of existence. And then I guess I'll wear it, just wear it for now, and I'm like, oh, the research, it will start when I actually have access to, researchy things like books and
As you put it on yourself, you have a glimpse for a brief second of your mother's face. And then there's a warmth that radiates through you. It doesn't light up like it did previously, but there's a warmth as you put it over your neck that radiates through your body. And we'll say then, with that, you head to your tent, your bedroll, and a lot of you then take a long rest. Each getting
During
up
my
for your-
watch,
Mhm.
during my watch, the only thing I do is I cast Hunter's Mark on Karuf. And the way that he does that is he has a small wooden leaf ornament that he always holds on his person, and he clutches it really tightly, and as he does, he releases it, and the words Karuf are engraved into the leaf token, and I know where exactly she is for the next 8 hours.
Cool. Perfect.
Because she said some
Yeah.
words that Flanagan now
As a
thinks she might
guard.
be a criminal.
Yeah.
So he will track her for the next 8 hours, which is the entirety of our sleeping schedule.
Mhm.
So it's just in case she doesn't run her in the night, kills someone, and disappears. So yeah, he's just he does that.
And I will say that despite having the occasional watch, we won't go into who does which time slot, etc. You guys all get the benefits of a long rest. So please refresh your character sheets, refresh your spell slots. If anybody has any spells that they would like to prepare for the day ahead, do let me know. Otherwise, we will continue on.
I actually want to say that Karuk gets up at night because she really needs a wee.
Okay. So she gets up.
She goes like to a faraway bush.
How far away do you go?
Across the bridge.
Okay. I would say that Flanagan, you're probably not during your watch. I imagine it probably makes you stir slightly, but not enough to wake you up. Because she's not really outside your radius yet. But yeah. Anything else from anybody during the night, or are we good to go? I imagine you all have bathroom breaks. We could be here all day.
What I do first thing in the morning, I cast Goodberry.
Cool. So you have a selection of good berries on you.
And what Bramble would do is, before everyone wakes up, has positioned himself here to do some morning meditation as a monk.
Okay. So you're doing some meditation.
Yeah. Drakenthal will do his morning routine of making his armor ready, his weapons ready, making sure everything's fine. Starting to put on his armor. Takes a while.
Perfect. So he's putting on his armor, getting ready. I'd say Kalara's probably doing something very similar, maybe having a morning prayer of sorts as well. But as you guys all come to, it's at this point when those of you who step outside your tents this morning and those of you who are sitting by the water meditating, or even Alfonso, would notice that above you it is just storm clouds. You can't see the sky above you. It's dark. It almost feels like you've woken up in the nighttime and it's still the middle of the night, but you can't see any stars. You can only see the dark sort of rumbling clouds above you. You also start to hear the life of the forest sort of waking up. There's a breeze. You can hear the wind beginning to pick up a little bit with some of the leaves rustling, etc. What do you guys do?
Oh, good morning, all. So, same situation as yesterday. Here's a good berry. If someone goes down, pop it in their mouth. Yes, you do have to make sure they swallow it, and they'll get straight back up. Here you go, and I give out one to every person again.
Clara giggles as she accepts one as well.
So, what is the plan actually for today? We have found this one.
Are we?
Vanessa disappeared.
Yes, and I wish I was a little bit closer to her when she did, because could have tracked that bitch. But what we're gonna do is, I think we head into this tower and ask about this book.
I
And
guess
we'll
so.
collect a hefty reward.
Well, we can at least find out what's
Or-
going on.
We will approach him with your law.
All I'm saying, right, is if this Vanessa person is as good as she seems, why is she doing a runner? Maybe these Whisper Winds are the victims. Who knows? So I say, we return the book back to whence it came, and then we find out what happens next.
The book came from a museum far away, did it not?
Right, but it's the Whisper Winds book, is it not? Am I understanding that right? It's got his name written in it.
We don't
TW?
know that for certain. It could be the book.
The
W.
Whisper Wind.
Or Thomas.
Okay. How about we
Trevor?
just go to the tower? Because I'm gonna assume this Vanessa Wind person has probably went there in spite and
Vanessa
waiting for
Whisper
us.
Wind. Could you imagine?
They
I
might
would-
be expecting us.
Either way, let's get on with this, shall we?
Yes.
We got a big day ahead of us. We've got a quest to take care of.
You guys would all know that the Whisperwind Tower that you guys would have to go to is the other side of Meadowshade. So you'd have to go back where you came from. It's still dark, but you're not traveling through the night. You're traveling through the daytime. It's still very dark. You can see, I would say, those of you who have, don't have dark vision, you would still be able to see. You would still be able to act as if it's a normal day. It's just very overcast and it's stormy above you. It could start raining at any point. I imagine you all pack up your camp before you get going. So you all have those of you who put down tents would have your tents in your inventory again. So Kalara would put both of hers back into her sort of satchel. Yeah.
I'm clambering up the trees to get the blankets and ropes and stuff.
I'll help Flanagan with that.
Oh, thanks.
Bramble's just there, like almost like taking it down from his waistline.
It's a lot higher up for me than it is you, so I appreciate that.
No worries, I got you.
So yeah, as we get
While they're-
ready and head out, I would do the inspiring leader again. So
Sure. Do you want to give me? I'll allow it.
yeah,
But what I'll also do is I'd ask you to give me a sort of speech or something that you would say. Something. It can be short. It can be sweet. But something that you would say to try and rally everybody to get them to go.
yeah, was what I was trying to do just now, talking about quests that we have to take care of. So yeah, everyone, let's just go into this and see what's at the end of it. Why are we here? What is really all this about? And get down to it and do the right thing. Go down legends in this.
Oh, I don't know about legends, but I tell you what, I feel
You will be a
inspired.
legend as will be Alfonso.
Oh, I don't
will be
want to
all
be a
of-
legend. No. That's not what Flanagan Thistlewick's about. However, I do think you're right. We should go into this and do the right thing.
And I would say that with that bolstering performance of, speaking of, we need to get out there, we need to attack the day, become legends, solve the mystery, do what we need to do. The rest of you all gain a sort of inspiring feeling as you all gain an ability score increase. Wait, what is it exactly you get from this? It's temporary hit points.
5 temporary hit points, plus the modifier of
It was
my
7.
ability, which is wisdom.
It's a +2.
So it was 7?
Yes.
7.
Yeah.
And I would
7
say
overall.
that even Alfonso, hearing this, would also get the 7 temporary hit points.
Oh, wait, are you sure? Because he can only pick 6, and I believe
I
with
can-
Alfonso
yeah.
that would be 7.
I'm gonna allow it because he's also feeling up for the day.
Oh,
So he also
good
gets
job,
the 7 hit
Alfonso.
points.
But then
Cool.
I don't give it to myself again, right? Because I give it to everyone in the party, which is
6.
Rez's character as well.
Yes,
Like we are
correct.
7 plus Alfonso.
You are the inspiring leader, so you inspired everybody else.
I'm inspiring
yeah.
everyone.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Here, have a second good berry for good luck.
Thanks.
Cool.
Before we do head out, while they're taking the stuff off, I'm going to look where I last remember seeing what's her face.
Vanessa.
And I'm gonna see if I can maybe find a trail. Maybe she left tracks in her escape. Maybe there's like a something she left behind, something to like give an idea of which way she went. Did she go back towards town? Did she head back in that direction, or did he head back in some other direction?
I will say I don't need an ability check score here because
Okay.
as you look around, it's almost as if nothing was standing here. There's no footprints. There's no sign of anything ever being here. She is completely gone. It almost looks untouched. See, there's
What did
no
you
sign.
find, Gammer?
It's Gamma. Thank you.
So it said Gammer.
Whatever. Well, she's living up to her name,
Vanessa?
that's for sure. No, the other name.
What's her other name?
Whisper.
Whisperwind.
We don't know that's her name.
Yeah, but that's the name she told us, and that's the name that.
No, that's the name of the people in the tower, not her name.
Oh well, I'm going to assume that's where she's going, and that's her name.
You should never assume things, because that
Well, I'm
means
going
that you're
to
making
assume
arse
things
out of me
because
and
she-
you.
She left no trail here, right? She was the one that didn't want us to come out here and get this thing.
But she also
I'm
did
gonna-
tell us about it. So,
She
technically,
also did tell us about it. Yeah.
technically, she did both things. She told us what to
Mhm.
find and told us
I
not
think-
to find it.
I think she's at the tower. She's a Whisperwind, And yeah. I mean, look, she left no trail, no tracks. I mean, who else can do that, really?
It was 8 hours ago, and it is raining.
Right. But that shouldn't matter unless other things were stepping in and, she purposely covered her tracks. Huh?
Oh, I don't know. We're in a forest.
Have you ever tracked someone before? You should be good at tracking, should you not?
No, I'm fantastic at tracking, but
you should know that people's tracks can still stay.
And track someone within a forest after 8 hours and it been raining.
Yes, you should know. You should know tracks stick around even weeks after someone's been there. You should be able to tell someone's been there. Like if someone come to our camp, someone can tell we've been there months after.
Well, yeah, but you can see. Look, there's our Alfonso prints right there. As I point to the
she left nothing. Which means obviously she's either really light on her feet, or she has some way of covering her tracks. What other way would that be other than a name that kind of fits it? Whisperwind.
Or a spell like Parse Without a Trace, which don't leave any track, which I cast earlier. Anyway, look, let's go. Let's attack the day. That's what Drakenthal said. He said, let's attack the day and do the things we need to do and do them right.
Now, you're lucky. You're very funny.
As you guys are leaving the camp, can I ask who is leading?
Gamma will take point.
I'll lead.
Yeah,
you.
So who's leading? Because everybody's
Gamma wants to take the lead. You can take.
Both me and Drakenthal. I'll grab them and I'll have them.
I'll take from the rear on the back of Alfonso.
All right. Can I ask? Let's use, because of the inspiring leader, let's use Drakenthal. Drakenthal, please, can you roll for me a d3? So 1d3.
Or slash roll 1d3. Is that it? A 1.
Perfect. Cool. As you guys begin to step into the forest, I will say it is dark. It is still. It feels like it could be nightfall. It's almost getting to that stage. You can make out what's ahead of you, but everything looks almost grey because it's so dark. And as you guys walk through the forest, you're heading back towards Meadowshade. You're all walking down, and I'm going to ask, let me just reposition Drakenthal to the front as well. As you guys are all walking down back towards Meadowshade, can I please ask Caruth, Gamma, and Drakenthal, please can you all roll for me a perception check?
Does having dark vision help?
No, not at this stage because it's not that dark that you would require it.
Do I get to make anything being at an elevated state on top of Alfonso?
I will say, you know what? Let's have purely for RP purposes. Let's have both Gamma and also Bramble at 7 foot. Let's have you two both roll a perception check as well, please.
I'm as high as he is, so.
Yep. I would say that. Just need one more from our good friend Flanagan.
You said Gamma, sorry.
Sorry, Flanagan, I meant Flanagan,
okay,
my
cool.
bad. Yes, okay. Somehow, all the way in the rear, Flanagan is the only one who notices this, but you spot on your way back, off the sort of path that you guys walked, beneath a tree, appears to be a hooded figure. And he's sort of leaning up against the tree in the distance. The rest of you haven't caught on to this.
Right. Hold. Everyone hold.
What does your eye see?
11 o'clock. Seems to be a particular gentleman leaning up against a tree, hood up. Now, we want to be careful, because if this is that Vanessa bitch, she might be, like, planning to attack us or something here. Okay?
Well...
Keep your wits about you. Make sure you say the right things, and do the right thing.
When I say we just ignore him and keep walking, I mean, some
well,
dude
we
standing at
can
the
do that
tree
and
who
all, I
really
guess.
gives a
You want to
shit.
ignore him?
Yeah,
I mean,
unless he says
Either,
something to us.
either you wanna prepare for engagement, or
We
you
can
wanna
prepare, but all I'm saying is just
know,
fucking
talk.
ignore him. What's he gonna do? It's one dude.
As you guys are talking, you notice that he lifts the rest of you catch on, and he lifts up an arm that appears to have a lantern. As he sort of walks away from the tree.
Well, who goes there?
Do you call out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he turns. You can see the hood turns to you. And he sort of steps out from underneath the tree cover, and you can see, now that he holds up the lantern, you can see what appears to be an elven man in dark robes, with what appears to be almost a raven perched on his shoulder. Ah, you carry something bright, something stolen. He murmurs, and he doesn't, you can see the flicker of his eyes. It's as though he's not looking at you directly. As he begins to slowly step towards you guys.
Would we recognize the raven on this? Like it's a picture of a raven, right?
No, it appears to be like a silhouette
an
of
actual
a raven.
Okay.
On his shoulder. And from what you can see, it is a raven.
I'm slowly hiding behind Alfonso.
Which one of us has that stolen thing you said? Because, being a member of the coalition, that's not something I can stand for. Who stole what?
I mean,
I
no
look immediately
harm.
at Karuf.
I mean no harm and no ill will. Be on your way, as I shall still, as he continues to walk.
Oh, we ain't playing these silly games.
We're gonna ignore him. He's just murmuring about some dumb thing. Let's just keep going.
Can we see more now? I mean, if he's coming towards us, does it look like a familiar person to any of?
From what you can see, this is he's a handsome elven gentleman. He looks sort of, the equivalent would be a sort of 30s gentleman, but as an elf, so probably a lot older.
Would it be possible to call an insight on trying to figure out, like he said, he knows we have something stolen. Like, how does he know, or what's he referring to, something like that?
You can definitely try an insight, but I will say it would be at disadvantage because you're at such a distance and you don't really know him.
I know how to deal with these folk. We don't know who you are, and you meeting us here is rather bizarre.
Well done.
Wow, with a 3 and a 7, you definitely have no idea what his intent is. You don't know how he is. I would say that he pulls his hood back, and you guys see, despite the low light available, you see what appears to be striking white hair. And again, he's got that very handsome sort of elven man look to him.
Does he seem similar to Lady Sienna?
Yeah. Seems Celestar.
From what you can tell from the distance, he is elven, but you'd need to get closer to have a better look, I would say. Especially with the perception.
I'll move 15 feet forward.
Cool.
And
I'll position myself between.
We're just passing by. We're just heading back to the village.
To Meadowshade.
If you don't mind, we'll be on our way.
I must warn you of the Owlbear family just south of here. I saw them earlier. If you want to take a more direct route, you're better equipped with a spell one of you may have to avoid such combat.
How do you know all these things about us? Have you been watching us? And I'll move another 10 feet closer to him.
He holds his words, and you see a slight smile on his face.
Insight check.
Be careful.
You're inciting the smile on his face?
I mean, you know, okay, he's smiling because he either
Behavior.
knows or he doesn't know, right?
He
so if he's smiling,
smiles,
obviously.
And before you roll your insight check, he says, I know. He says in character, he says, I know plenty of what's to come, what has been and what is done. You can do an insight check now if you choose.
Cameron,
he
you've got
definitely-
to say it back to him in rhyme, otherwise these sort of folk don't understand what you're saying.
I'm getting right. I'm getting kind of nervous because he sounds like someone that I used to know.
What is your name?
Oh, an interesting thing, names, don't you
What
think?
is your name? Says this lady, a fair dame.
I like the way you talk. Flanagan, how eloquent. It's interesting.
How the fuck do you know my name, sir?
I moved 10 feet closer to him.
As
and this
you
time,
stand... Yeah, go on.
and I there's a hand on the blade on the hilt, and another one with his shield is like still out, and he's just eyeing him up, like he's waiting for the answer of what he says to what Flanagan just asked. I'm eyeing him up, like I am looking at him. Does he have any weapons on him? Does it look like he has anything
From what
that
you
could?
can see, he has on him a lantern and what appears to be a raven on his shoulder, his left shoulder.
Mhm.
He is unarmed otherwise. In what you can see is sort of dark black robes.
Yeah.
But he seems perfectly, from what you can see, he seems perfectly unarmed.
Okay.
I mean, no harm.
I will turn my attention to the raven.
Mhm.
And I will ask the raven if this person is telling the truth and if he can tell us what he's doing here.
When you say you ask the raven, presumably you are just talking in your tongue, not to an animal with any spells or... I mean, I know Furbolg have an ability. Can I see the trait or the... Do they have speak with animals, just plainly?
I was just looking it up.
I just want to know before I...
Just to see what it says. Furbolg.
Speech of beast and leaf. You have the ability to communicate with a limited manner with beasts and plants. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return. You have advantage on charisma checks you try to make to influence them. It looks to you. You can see that the raven turns his head to have his eye on you. And it just lets out like a short squawk. Just a... And that's it. And it looks to sort of just stay perched on the shoulder. I mean no harm, no ill will.
Awesome. Sorry, I just...
He keeps talking about this will.
It seems not fair you know our name, but we don't know yours. Does it not?
I offer help.
Didn't
I
rhyme.
offer info.
Do you know why we're here or how we got here?
I know what it is that which you seek and what you carry.
In your beak.
He smirks. He smirks as you say that. Your fate ahead. The master of which you deliver said goods collects lost things. But I must warn you that not all that are lost are meant to be found.
That didn't rhyme at all either. You keep changing your tune, laddie. Now tell me why the fuck you know my name.
I know most names of people near and far, but the tower awaits, hungry as ever, and not all doors lead back.
The fuck?
So what
He
do you...
chuckles. He
Okay.
chuckles before any of you can say anything. He
Wait.
chuckles and says, "Doors. Funny thing about doors. A door unguarded swings both ways, but a locked one, that only opens when begged."
You're a strange fellow, you are.
Or Karut looks really puzzled as she's been thinking about this for a minute. She goes, "For a man so wise, you do not look old. For our journey ahead, do you have advice?"
No, no, no. It should have been.
Wise advice, Flanagan.
No. You said old, so it should have been. And I can clearly see you ain't bold.
Because you're not bold.
There you go.
Again, he just sort of shakes his head. Blood on the counter, blood on the floor, and yet not a drop to drink.
What?
Beg your pardon?
Fruit
What?
water.
He looks past you. You guys, it's almost like he's not looking at you, and he says, "Advice. I cannot give advice, but his chains rattle even now. But it is not no time yet, no, not yet. 7 locks, 7 lies. When you see him next, look at his eyes. You will not like what you find." And he turns around and begins to walk away.
I can't look at your eyes if you're looking that way, lad.
Can I does this guy remind me of the way that my mother used to speak?
Can I have a history check, please, from you?
You sure can. 25.
It is eerily similar to the way that
Okay.
your mother speaks.
I thought so.
He continues to step away. You hear him muttering something about doors.
He just said 7 locks, 7 lives. When you look at him, make sure to look in his eyes. I think.
Did you say lives or lies?
He said 7
Lives.
lives. Right?
Lies.
You
Lies?
said lies.
Oh no.
7
Shouldn't be telling
locks,
lies.
7 lies. But it is not time, no, not yet. Doors, funny thing about doors, as you see, he almost disappears.
About doors.
It's almost like a mist comes across him, and you see a sort of a blur. And from what you can see, he's no longer there. All that remains, for those of you with the keenest of eyes, is a black feather that begins to fall to the ground.
Oh.
This man was a soothsayer, a diviner, someone who predicts the future, I think.
How do
Oh,
you
really?
know that? Like,
My mother used to speak in very similar very similar fashion.
so
my-
And your
My
mother
her as
was
well,
a
then.
soothsayer?
My mother was indeed a soothsayer. She was employed by House Velistra and predicted their future, and that paid for the bread on our table.
And did she have to talk in riddles, or could she just say it like a normal person?
I think she was rather cryptic as well. I mean, she never spoke to me like that. To me, she was just a mother like any other.
Now you're doing it.
I would say that Flanagan, as you were talking to him the most, at this moment where you feel you hear him again, but closer, and you hear the words, "Blood on the counter, blood on the floor, and yet not a drop to drink."
I'm so confused, but I'm hearing his voice in my head now.
what's he saying?
Something about blood on the counter, blood on the floor, not a drop to drink.
He said that
Yar.
before. He said the exact same thing before.
How odd. Strange fellow. Meet him in the woods, he knows your name, then he starts jabbling on about all these random crap. Anyway, I guess we better head off to the tower. But while we're on the way, interesting fact, did you know that freshly cut grass is quite a nice smell to most people? But in actual fact, it's the grass sending out a distress call because it's just been cut. Interesting, that.
Did you know This pass without a trace you were doing before.
Oh, right,
Do
yeah.
it again.
Click my fingers and Pass Without a Trace comes out again.
So you cast that.
Yeah, right, let's go.
With Flanagan, one
Can we
more
try
thing.
sneak
Speed run.
carefully?
Just a question, if you will.
Yeah.
If a tomato is botanically a fruit, but treated as a vegetable in cooking, what truly defines it? Science or culture?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually had one of those on my list here. Because I had that the word fruit is a botanical term, whereas vegetable is a culinary term.
I like you.
You know what, Bramble? I think me and you would get quite along.
You
Possibly.
notice.
Do
You
we
know-
actually?
Sorry, go on.
It's something I wanted to ask when he encountered us. Do we know where the amulet is? Did we see it on?
As far as I'm
Sienna?
aware, Sienna is wearing the amulet,
So we would see it.
so you would see it, yeah. But it doesn't have that glow that I was explaining in
Yeah.
the campfire last night.
I
It's
just wanted to know
Mhm.
for awareness.
And I would say that as you guys sort of have this conversation between you, Gamma, as you're the closest to it, before you lies two roads. There's the road where you had come in. It's not roads, it's almost like openings in the trees. The road where you came in, and then there's one slightly to the left of it, which appears to have almost a beam of sunlight in the distance, which then disappears as the clouds cover it. But you notice that there's a second route back. What do you guys do?
Well, we have two options. We take his advice and go down this other route he's advised, or we go down straight where he said there was owlbears waiting for us down south.
Well,
I would say a route known is a route best traveled. We know the way we came in. I say rather than take the gamble on this crazy fella, we use my parts without a trace and we get a shimmy on and get the hell out of here.
If I may
Yeah, I
ask you
agree.
something, Flanagan. I mean, you have an owlbear with you as a friend. How dangerous are owlbears if we are somehow caught by one?
Oh, extremely territorial they are.
And well, extremely. So if we
Right.
run into one, we are guaranteed a fight.
but we've
If we
passed
run
it
into it.
before.
We passed it last time, I'm sure. You know, and we got Alfonso here. Alfonso beat the living crap out of him.
Kind of insight on that. I saw how Alfonso got beat literally the day before. Does he seem like
You
You
can
know,
roll insight, and I will let Flanagan decide with an
doesn't
8.
fucking matter.
He's a pretty big, grizzly owlbear. He also, you know, went toe-to-toe with an earth elemental. Like, when we're actually speaking about, you know, the combat situation, a giant statue of rocks beat the shit out of an owlbear.
Yeah,
In
but again, if I
comparison-
remember correctly, I took a hit from him and I took it pretty well. But Gamma would remember seeing like Alfonso taking one and didn't take it as well as Gamma did at all. So I think Gamma is just questioning if Alfonso is actually as sturdy as he says he is,
he took,
as Flanagan says he
multiple
is.
hits as well.
Yeah.
He didn't just take the one; he took multiple.
It's up to you guys. I
By all
think
means, if you wish to
we
trust
might-
the stranger that's jabbering onto us that turned into a feather, we'll follow that
this-
road of yours.
this stranger knew our names and knew what we were doing. I don't
Aye.
think that's
He's
some
also looking for a
coincidence.
slurp of the old blood, but you don't see me going to his next birthday party now, do you?
yeah.
This stranger gave us lots of advice and he also had lots of knowledge. And he did suggest if we want to pass these owlbears, we should use the spell.
Which we have used.
We're using, so we better get a shimmy on.
Let's go.
So,
Let's get going then.
Come on,
I will
man.
come back to Gamma. Where are you leading the group?
Well, they all said go south. We go fucking south. You know?
Which one? Do you go back the way you came, or do you go
Yeah,
slightly
the one
off the
where we
beaten
passed
track?
Galabears. You know, that's
All
where they
right.
said they wanted to go. That's where I'll lead them.
I need a stealth check from everybody, please.
Plus 10 on your rolls, ladies and gentlemen.
And I will have Kalara roll as well.
24.
29.
32.
15.
I gotta do one for Alfonso.
Ooh.
17.
That's a 15 for
29.
Kalara as well. No, 16 for Kalara. Okay.
15.
It'd be
Should be a
15 for
15.
armor.
Disadvantage.
Ah,
Heavy
okay. Mm-hmm. So that brings us to 1, 2, 3.
Our lowest rolls are 15. We had 2 17s, 1 15, and then everything's above a 20.
And that's okay. You guys succeed the stealth check. Well done!
Aw.
Congratulations, you succeed the stealth check again. Good job, guys.
Don't worry, I'm here.
So, as you guys step back out of the forest, I will say you stumble back into Meadowshade as you went straight into the forest from Meadowshade, and you're back in the town. What becomes eerily what you guys become aware of immediately as you enter is that the Wallowed Shrine, which is the tavern you guys were at earlier, it doesn't appear to have much going on around it. There's no sound, there's no noise coming from it. It's very odd at this sort of establishment to have no noise coming from it is a very strange thing. You're not used to seeing something like that. What do you guys do? You got the tower to your right as you're looking at the tavern now. Do you go off to the right or do you approach the tavern?
I would like to investigate if the recipe is up to
Yeah,
that.
this is awfully quiet.
I would say, from the old proverbs that bloke told us,
Oh dear.
inside of this tavern, there's going to be blood on the counter, blood on the floors, but none to drink because everyone's dead in there. That's what I'm thinking. Don't want to alarm anyone, and I'm more than happy on official coalition business. I'll go in there and investigate it myself if you'd like me to. Otherwise, we can all stumble in there, each of us, and combat any threat that we come across.
I mean,
But what makes you think that the perpetrator is still there?
Well,
If
there might
there's
not be.
blood. Sorry.
There might not be a perpetrator in there. Could very well be that we walk in and Vanessa's in there sucking the blood of everyone in there. Because, you know, she's a bitch.
If there's blood on the counter, we should check if anyone's still behind the counter.
I
Does
just got a
anybody-
feeling.
If there is a perpetrator, we can't kill him or her. Is
No,
that
we
what
can
you
arrest
say?
them. Aye.
Do you guys approach the tavern?
We
Does anyone
go
go
in.
near it?
yeah,
I
I mean,
would-
I'm
I
planning on
dismount.
saying he's gonna go in. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I
in.
dismount and start making my way in.
Okay, as you guys
Okay.
approach it, you notice that the door is slightly ajar. There doesn't
shout-
He
appear.
said something about a door.
He
The
did.
guy.
I shout,
did.
coalition business! I'm entering!
Oh, dear.
And I kick the door in as I run in with my fucking arrow drawn.
Okay, so
Jesus.
you
Like a
kick.
SWAT team.
I
What's,
guess I will follow him quickly.
what's eerie
Yeah, I'll
about
be
the town
behind.
is there doesn't appear to be anybody in it right now. Like nobody's walking around like you saw previously. You guys kick open the door and step through, and as you do so,
CFC, open up!
Gamma's missing. Gamma, I don't know why you didn't get transported over. My bad. There you are. Cool. As you guys enter, you see before you a dark tavern. There doesn't appear to be... There's a couple candles on low light still flickering a little bit. The windows appear to be almost intact, but sort of glossy, glary, almost like there's something that's happened in here that's caused it to fog up in some way. There doesn't appear to be anybody in here, including Arlen, the barkeep, who was here earlier. There doesn't appear to be anything. And I will say, I will ask what you guys do before, as you guys step in. What is it you guys do?
I,
Is
w- I
that-
would.
Go ahead.
You went first, yeah.
No, you go.
I would go blade drawn and shield up, and go towards the counter between, like, carefully circling through the tables and chairs,
Mhm.
and having an eye out if anyone's anywhere.
Sure, you can do a perception roll for me to see if you see anything. But you sort of make your way towards the table. As you look around,
24.
things look out of place. Like chairs look pushed around, as if people should be sitting at them, but there's no one there. But there doesn't appear to be anybody in here. It's very
no-
empty, and it's weird. As you came in, there wasn't that bell on the door that sort of jingled as you walked through it. It sort of creaked open.
And no sign of battle or struggle.
What you can see, where do you go exactly in here?
Well, I would walk through the chairs and,
You
towards
notice
the counter.
that there's a couple empty mugs on the tables. There's a couple of things sort of strewn out on the counter of the bar. There's nothing odd about it. What you do notice, if you're looking in that direction, is that on the bar there appears to be something catching the light where you guys were yesterday. Like a sort of film or something on the actual bar top itself.
But no, like, pushed over chairs, no...
Doesn't appear to be.
Well, I will approach the bar.
Okay. And the rest of you, what are you doing as you come in?
My initial
around.
reaction was going to be checking for signs of distress, blood, scuff marks. Was if they're, like you said, table, like a chair pushed over, or if there's like a dent in the wall or a glass shattered. Those sort of things is what I'm looking for the sign of struggle.
I would say that you guys, those of you who do approach the bar, notice a blood stain on it. And I will say that along with the blood stain, you see what can be described as basically a small red bloody handprint left on the countertop. And it is with that I think we end tonight's session. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for playing. Thank you for joining me tonight and for being part of the session. And we will pick this up next week.
Whoa.